Hello. Hi. Hello. Hello. Happy Monday. Hello. We're back again. Hi. 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 Yeah, it is Monday. I was looking at my calendar. Hello. What do we got to talk about tonight? I'm curious. Yeah, I see all the comments. Melly, why did you flake? Where are you, babelet? I know. I flaked yesterday. I owe you guys. I did that 4-hour live with Lauren Matthias case. So then I ended up watching Turtle Boys. So I was like, you know what? I'm sorry, babelets. Thank you, Yvonne. Let's see. But hello, hi. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I got a lot to say. I'm feeling a little petty, but I'll keep it cool. I'll keep it cool. Hello, welcome. I'm Melly. This is my channel. Hi, welcome. We are doing Mackenzie Shirilla text tonight, housekeeping stuff. Did you hit the like? Are you going to comment? Hello, hello. Do all of those things. Please, please, please. Definitely subscribe and turn on your notifications. I do go live a lot at random times during the week. So definitely please make sure you turn on your notifications. And thank you for being here. You can be anywhere on YouTube. And you're here. So with that being said, we are reading Mackenzie Shirilla text messages. If you are not familiar with the Mackenzie Shirilla case, I know we have a lot of new subscribers. With me covering the hidden true crime Lauren Matthias case, yes, I am covering it. We are following up on part 3, tres, tomorrow. Reading the documents. I have been reading the documents, playing the exhibits. We played the court audio hearing. So if you're into that, please definitely make sure you check out that playlist. And I will be live about that tomorrow. There's a lot of other cases that I'm ready to talk about, but these are mainly things keep coming up because there's just too much to talk about. But we are, if you're not, like I said, if you're not familiar with the Mackenzie Shirilla, I do have a playlist about the case. Long story short, she killed her boyfriend and one of his best friends. And she was driving at 100 miles per hour, her car into a brick wall. And I've been reading the text messages, and I am so proud of myself, and I'm so grateful that a lot of you have been here with me while I read 32,000 pages of text messages. Yes, I have. Yes, I did. I'm being harassed on the Mackenzie Shirilla stuff because there's this whole thing of like, oh my God, I did it first. I really don't give a shit, but here I am telling you this because it's important and because I can tell you whatever I want. So with that being said, we do also do Melly After Darks, and that's just like party time. That is not for the faint of the heart. Is that what someone said? Remind me, please, in the comments. Short-term memory. And if you see me disappear for like 2 seconds, I am waiting for my food. But we're going to finish February text messages. And I don't know that I'll finish March. These do get pretty long. So we'll see what we can get through tonight. So with that being said, hello, hello. Shout out to my mods for being here. I'll put the text messages or the comments up on the screen. And we shall begin. And I don't just cover Mackenzie and hidden true crime. I know I have a lot of Mackenzie lives recently, probably close to 30 to 40. Don't get upset. I do cover almost all other true crime cases. I am a true crime freak. And so yeah, anyways. Hello, hello. I saw you guys pop in here. There's a lot of you in the chat. Well, hello, Debbie, Tia, Mallory. Okay, Tiffany, Cree, mods. All right, all right. Hey, Glenda. Nah, be petty. Let's hear it. Ooh, don't try me. I'm gonna start doing like Melly updates because we need them. We need them. A lot of shit going on in my personal life that I think you guys would be interested in. How petty do I want to be? We'll see. We'll see. We keep it cool. We keep it cool. If you can't take a joke, Melly, you're late. Yes, I am. A whole day. Okay. Hello, hello. If you see smoke behind me, hi, hi. Don't worry, I am not on fire. They are incense and candles, etc. So don't you worry. It's my favorite. Okay. I saw someone say more Melly Duncan, Melly Duncan, Molly Duncan. Okay. Yes, I can do that. I have a lot of cases that I'm ready to go that I have a live ready for, but this and the Lauren stuff and just everything going on, I get caught up. Turtle Boy with the fun. Yeah, I do. I love me some Turtle Boy. Don't get me started. Okay. I'm gonna try to behave tonight. He. Where did we leave off? We left off on I don't know. Did we leave off on the 22nd of February? Because that's what my notes say. So what was going on? Dropping bag. Okay. Come get me. This is where it says I left off on. He says bet. Then the 22nd. He says here. Okay, yeah. He starts on the 22nd at 10:55 a.m. He says, love you, Kenzie. And cry me. I love. It was after her sister party. We left off where she was mad. That can mean a lot of things. Melly's on. I am. Did you guys tap the like button? Melly be smoking them rugs. I wish. I wish. Maybe later. I'm such a bad influence. I am. I'm bad. Don't listen to me. Just let me read to you. I am not a lawyer. I don't know Mackenzie, Shirilla, etc. These are public documents through the FOIA. Don't come for me. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Don't do anything I would do. Just there you go. Okay, he says, love you, Kenzie. And Kenzie says, love you, Nug. Dom says, love you more. She says, def not. He says, I don't know about that one. He says, hope Polaris is good, babe. I'll talk to you after. She says, I have that meeting today. I might get expelled, but I don't even care at this point. Wait, is she getting expelled because of the bad grades or the bad behavior or both? Is it February or March? We're at the end of February going into March, babelet. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I just saw you guys asked that. I changed my handle. Yeah, I know who you are. I don't know why YouTube's doing that. I don't. It's annoying. I wish they would go back to our regular handles. Okay. Both? Both what? I forgot what I asked. She says, I have that meeting today. I might get expelled. Oh, okay. I remember. What I don't even care at this point. And Dom says, all that means is that you were never supposed to do hair and something else better is meant for you and already coming. It's like when they told me I wouldn't graduate senior year, then I just put on my Millie face and got the bag. He says, they making you who you are, and that's going to be way more important than what you're doing now. I don't know about that advice. Kenzie says, yeah, I'm just going to become a model. I feel like I'm just going to start doing that more. Ooh. Dom says, there you go. But have a backup after modeling. That's like rapping. It doesn't last forever. You get an amazing couple years where you're at top, like I don't expect to be a rapper my whole life, but I'm definitely going to keep making music till I make a hit. But you don't even got to worry about that right now. Just go be a model and be the shit. Kenzie says, do you think we could get my friend Dizzy Drizzly or some shit like that? I don't know what that means. Stizzy? Do you think we could get my friend Stizzy or some shit like that? What the hell is Stizzy again? He says, yeah, next time I go, I got her. Like, is that the tree name? I don't know. He says, yeah, next time I go, I got her. Should be soon. She says, how much? Okay, yeah. He says, I don't know, probably like 60. She says, okay, but yeah. So they're talking about rugs. Well, marijuana. She says, how long do you think they oh, wait, just kidding. I don't know what I'm talking about. Because she says, how long do you think they last? He said, I don't really get them. I get the claw pods. Kenzie says, she just wants something like that. Dom says, I'll get her something good like that. Kenzie says, okay, bet. What are you doing? He says, smoking a wood, about to make music. You still on Fort? And this is at 10:17 p.m. Oh, it jumped to 10:17 p.m. He says, alligator tonight? She says, yes. What is that code word for? They're not talking about eating like real alligator, right? Because I am going to end the live and throw up. What are they saying? Oh, that's what I thought. It's the vape pen. Okay, don't get mad at me. Oh, my mouth is on fire. Bad. What does that mean? Bad behavior. Me? Always. Anyone can be a model these days. Okay. It's so good. I'm sorry. What? The alligator? It tastes like chick. Yeah, I'm good. Moving on. I don't want to be judgmental or anything. So let's move on. She says, yes. Okay, what the hell? He says, sorry, 1 sec. She says, bruh. Okay, good. Oh, just kidding. It's only 4:23 p.m. Did I say it was 11 p.m.? I think I didn't know how to read. Anyways, it's 4:23 p.m. on the 22nd. She says, okay, good. He says, what I didn't know, you were going to answer that quick. I was washing that peach and eating it. It wasn't that good. Maybe it wasn't ripe enough. Do you have buttermilk in basil? She says, let me ask. Yes, on the basil. No milk. He says, okay, I need hot sauce anyway. I'm gonna run to the store. She says, okay, bet. Let me know when to come. Or you can get me. He says, I'm about to run to the store. Can pick you up before or after. He says, okay, I'm on the way to the store at 6:30 p.m. She says, okay, you can game before if you want. He says, I'm already about to be at the store. She says, okay. She sends a TikTok, 3 TikToks. He says, here at 7:02 p.m. She's sending more TikToks. She says, coming. Oh, Lord. That was at 7:02 p.m. And then at 11:51 p.m., she says, can we get someone jumped or something? He says, who? Why? She says, Hope. Wait, Hope, her friend? Oh, no. What happened with Hope now? Late as F. Who's late? You're getting detention. Just kidding. I was late. You don't get detention. What jumped? Yeah, they're trying to get someone jumped. Finally caught a live just on your channel a couple weeks ago. Love hearing you read the text. Yay, yay, yay. Question mark, question mark? Question mark, question mark. Thank you for being here. She says, Hope. So now she's trying to get her friend jumped. She says, I don't like how she's talking to me. I don't play that, she says. Very mean girl style. Very Lauren Matthias. Oh, is that too soon? That might be too soon. I don't know. Maybe not. Just kidding. Ha ha ha. She says she thinks she can just disrespect me. She really doesn't know who I am. She may have more friends than me, but I'm fucking insane. Dom says it's not even worth the trouble unless she really did something. Kenzie says, I don't know. I wanna F her over. Dom says, wanna try to scam her? This is now 12:23. She says, LMAO. Yes. How? Dom says, I don't know. Let me figure it out. Scamming is really time sensitive. All the scams get changed every week. Wait, what? Let me figure it out. Scamming is really time sensitive. All the scams get changed every week. I didn't know that Dom was scamming people. I don't know what that means. Kenzie says, please, can we scam her? And then she sends screenshots. Dom says, LOL, yeah. Kenzie said, are we robbing her or something? She's literally trying to mess with my parents' money right now. It's pissing me off, to be honest. Hope going to homecoming with Daniel. Dom says, you mean prom? Kenzie says, yes. Dom says, and yeah, we'll figure something out for right now. Just get your pants from her. Kenzie says, okay, for real, I'm going to freak out. Dom says, my mom was doing the breathing when she was in the hospital with her stomach. It relaxes you and helps you and eases pain. Okay. He sent that at 6:06 a.m. and she says, last chance or you're getting blocked. Last chance. He says, okay, then don't do that. I'm just trying to help. So they must have been talking on the phone. She says, do we seriously have to break up again at 6:07 in the morning? She says, like, are you seriously not getting this? He says, WTF. She says, when I ask you to be there for me and you start doing shit like that, then there's an effing problem. When I tell you to effing stop and you effing don't, that's a effing problem. Learn how to effing be there for people. You literally effing suck. He says, Kenzie, I'm trying to help. The breathing helps, but whatever. Try and help another way. Don't be mean to me about it because you didn't like my suggestion. She says, don't effing suggest breathing to me ever. You can apologize now. Sad that I even have to tell you how to do that. You don't know how to be there for people. Like you could have just actually been there for me instead of not. Dom says, Kenzie, that's something you apologize for. You have 5 seconds or you're getting blocked and the whole issue is going to start over. Like, I will break up with you. Dom says, Kenzie, you break up with me this time, we're done. Kenzie says, like I said, I would watch what you say. Oh, sorry, hold on, let me turn this candle off. Before I really need hot fireman over here. Okay, sorry. He says, Kenzie, you break up with me this time, we're done. Like I said, I would watch what you say, she said. That's not something you break up with someone over. Do you think I care? She says, like, if you can't apologize to me for being effing weird as F, then there's a problem with her. With her. She says, you have 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dom says, I care about you, but I'm not doing this breakup shit. Kenzie says, I swear to God, I wouldn't start this again. I would not. In caps. Dom says, like, I can apologize if not, because we're going to break up. It will be a bad choice, she says. Dom says, chill the fuck out. Like, what? Oh, oops, sorry, YouTube. Forgive me, YouTube, for I have sinned. Okay, Kenzie emphasizes you can apologize now. She says, then, and then sends a screenshot. Dom says, I know you're stressed out, but chill out. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Kenzie says, no, your stubbornness doesn't. Now you have to make it up to me more than apologizing. He says, fine, I'm sorry. She says, stupid ass N-word. We got issues. You're a effing joke. Dom says, no, you are. She says, okay, no, that too. Dom says, I'm trying to help you and you dog me for a breathing method that has been used for millions of years. Kenzie says, apologize. He says, sorry, you don't believe in it. Kenzie says, you better apologize now again. Honestly, now you have to make it up to me. I'm not talking to you until you do. Dom emphasizes his message about breathing for a million years, the breathing technique. He says, I have to apologize because of that. Kenzie says, you're literally an effing dumb ass and I word, the N word. Learn that you on thin ice. He says, nope, not doing this every 3 days. Let me get sleep. She says, you will lose me in the effing snap of a finger. I would watch your goddamn mouth. He says, you're not affecting my mental health because you're not happy. She says, okay, then we can break up. 4 question marks. I would watch what you say. Dom says, Kenzie, at this point, I don't give an F. Break up with me this 2 times a week, every week, like WTF. She says, I would literally be triple thinking what you say. He says, I would too, because I'm sick of it. Kenzie says, should have known your shitty flowers meant nothing. Wow, the audacity on Kenzie. I can't do this. Oh, we don't have issues. You have issues. Listen, if you are you behaving in the chat? Hmm. Oh, you guys are counting down with me. Dropping a bag means they're dropping off a bag. Dropping a bag means the money. El dinero. I think do it then, you stupid. I know. Hey, Ben. Oh my gosh, I have to sneeze. Excuse me if I do. Okay, I have to sneeze. Okay, I don't want to be rude. Um, babe, those are only flowers. Dude, I love flowers. Okay. Bless you. Thank you. Let it out, Malik. In your ear and be rude and no manners. No, thank you, sir. Let's continue. I had to sneeze because of my incense in the background. I think it's making me sneeze. Sorry for the interruption. Let's continue. Dom says, nothing you did meant. Wait, what did she say? Should have known your shitty flowers meant nothing. And Dom says, nothing you did meant nothing. You're terrible to me and you don't love me. I'm going back to bed. Drop it or break up with me. I don't care. Kenzie says, and you think I do? You think someone who loves me talks to me like this? You literally have no effing idea how to be a good boyfriend. Like you actually suck at it. Dom says, you talk to me way worse. Kenzie says, maybe if you paid attention to anything that came out of my mouth, you know, breathing has never worked in my whole life. So why the F are you trying to push that on me knowing that? Dom says, I talk to you bad because I stand up for myself. Kenzie says, second of all that, the fact that you're literally a grown ass man and you can't apologize, you're literally depressing. If you say one more thing that's wrong to me, we will be done forever. I would watch your mouth too, she said in caps. Stop trying to push that. I would apologize if you just ask, like, please shove that up your tiny little a-hole because you would never do that. You're a stubborn little shit. She is so disgusting. I can't stand her at this point. At this point, I get a little aggressive up here, and I do apologize in advance. Thank you. Wait, are you talking about Kenzie or who? What's wrong with her? She's losing control. I know she is. She says, "You're a stubborn little shit. Like, you wonder why I don't give you head or anything. You earn that." Wow. That is foul. He says, "I always apologize for no reason." She says, "Yeah, and how you been acting, there's no way in FUCK in hell you would ever get that. Like, literally, you act disgusting." He says, "I don't wanna apologize if you're trying to force me to." Kenzie says, like, "Honestly, every day you make me just not wanna do this relationship anymore." She says, "Are you slow?" And then she sends a screenshot. He says, "Peace." She sends his message, "You can apologize now," or her message. Kenzie says, "And you said no." Dom says, "Good night." He says, "Stop this." She says, "I didn't threaten you and your stubborn ass didn't apologize." Dom said, "So childish." She says, "You have 5 seconds to reply." One, he says, "And toxic." She says, two, three, four. He says, "Stop." She says, "You have 5 seconds." One, two. He says, "Stop." She says, three, four. He says, "Stop." For what? She says, "You really want to be blocked, don't you?" She sends a screenshot. He says, "Kenzie, you're being crazy because you haven't had sleep." Kenzie says, "You can apologize now." He says, "I'm sorry." Kenzie says, "You said no. I didn't threaten you." Dom says, "Now sleep, babe." Kenzie says, "You just said no. Clearly, you can't even think. We're done." Done, she says. "You have a lot to do if you want another chance, but we are done. You just proved to me that you can't keep your word literally for not even a single day. I think you're the most immature thing I've met in my whole effing life. All of your apologies mean nothing. Same with your shitty little flowers. No, let's stop acting like you're going to change. If you're not, you should just tell me if you're going to be a piece of shit the rest of your life. Let me know." He says, "Kenzie, you tell me if you're going to be like this the rest of your life." She says, "You have 3 minutes to reply." He says, "'Cause if you're not going to change, I'm leaving. I'm dead serious." Kenzie loves her own message. And she says, "You just proved to me that you can't keep your word literally for not even a single day. I think you're the most immature thing I've met in my whole effing life. And all of your apologies mean nothing." And same, oh, wait, she's repeating that again. And because she said, "Shitty little flowers." He emphasizes, "'Cause if you're not going to change, I'm leaving." She sends again, "You just proved to me that you can't keep your word for not even a single day. I think you're the most immature thing." He emphasizes his message again. She said, "5 seconds to reply." He said, "Answer mine." She said, "Or we're done AF." She sends again the same message. He says, "Answer mine." She says, five, four, three, two. He says, "Answer mine. I'm done with this bullshit. So toxic." Kenzie says, "Wow, you must really not want a girlfriend." Dom says, "I want to be happy. I want real love." Oh my gosh. These parts make me want to cry. Thank you, Sleepy Queen, for becoming a member. Shout out to you. Great way to support the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Moonchild. She looks dumb saying this to him every day and staying with him shows how insecure she is. Thank you for the bless you. She knew she would follow through with the threats, and she did. Yeah. Dom is no longer here with us, and it is very sad. He says, "I want real love." She says, "You have 1 minute left." He says, "Not this." She says, "To reply to that." He says, "I am replying." You didn't answer me either. Kenzie says, you just proved to me that you can't keep your word literally for not even a single day. I think you're the most immature thing I've met in my whole effing life. And all of your apologies mean nothing. She's copying and pasting the same messages before. She says, with your shitty little flowers, no, let's stop acting like you're going to change. She says, you have 30 seconds. 20, 10. Dude, does she not know how to count? It doesn't go that fast. She says 20 and 10. And then she's like, 5, question mark, question mark, question mark. He says, I'm not a piece of shit. I am the shit. I don't give an F. I know my worth, and it's not worth wasting my energy over someone who doesn't even love me. Kenzie says, this reply better be well worded. He says, now you want to love me normal? You can. But if you don't, then leave. She sends the same thing she did before. You're the most immature thing I met in my life. All of your apologies mean nothing. F your little shitty little flowers. You should just tell me if you're going to be a piece of shit the rest of your life. Okay, last chance. He says, no. She says, you have 1 minute. He says, that's all I have to say. Good night. He's saying good night, but it's 6:30 a.m. in the morning. She says, this is your last chance. He says, well, good morning, I guess. Yeah, that's more like it. She says, if you go to bed, we're breaking up. So serious. Dom says, I don't care. Kenzie said, okay, then we're done. He said, at this point, I don't really care. She says, bet. Why couldn't it just like end there? That was it. They broke up. Dom is still alive. He says, you used all your threats. They don't work anymore. I know if you love me, I'll be in your life. But right now, you're just showing me how much you really don't care. Kenzie says, I love you, but I'm not going to let you treat me like shit. I need someone who's going to be obsessed with me and that's actually going to try and not fake apologize and just get me flowers to get their way. And clearly, you can only do nice things when you're being forced or I'm breaking up with you. So we're done. I should have known the flowers were an effing lie, just like this whole relationship has been since freshman year. 5-minute timer starting now. She makes all these threats. So break up with him. Leave. Welcome voices in your head for becoming a member. What? Welcome for becoming a member. Thank you for becoming a member is what I meant. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Shout out to you. It really helps the channel. You treat me like shit because you don't buy me in person summer clothes. I was saying, what are you eating? Such a wonderful relationship. Oh yeah. I have to tell you guys something after. And the mother is on its side. I know. The counting down really like triggers me. I don't know. Does it like, I don't know why. Because no one's ever counted down to me. But for some reason, I feel like triggered. I don't know if it's like an emotional, like I'm upset trigger or like an angry trigger, you know? Or maybe it's just because it's so effing annoying. I don't know. Like, who counts down to an adult? Do people still do that with children? I don't know. If so, I don't know what to tell you. She says, I should have known the flowers were an effing lie, just like this whole relationship has been since freshman year. 5 minutes timer starting now. He says, you know, Kenzie, it's gross you hold all these things over my head and threaten effed up things to get your way, you know. If it was the first time you try and break up, I'd probably be at your house. But this is the 100th time you said that. And after so many times, I got emotionally tired of it. I can't take you having all my time and energy when I got a mom in the hospital and got to get my life together. Kenzie says, it's either you're going to treat me right, be obsessed with me, have good communication skills, stop lying when you apologize, which is probably not going to happen. or we will never talk again. You have a lot of work to do if you want this relationship to ever work out again. I'm never going to give all of me just to anyone ever again. Last time I did that, your DICK went in both of my best friends. You're going to have to prove yourself before you get anything from me. And this is going, by the way, this is going, it's not looking very bright. 5-minute timer starting now. He says, I gave you all of me many times and you just kept threatening me. You don't deserve me anymore. Kenzie said, oh, is that so? LMFAO. I know that little boy who calls himself a man that literally puts his bare penis in your 14 girlfriends, best friends, PUSSY, and got head from your other best friend with braces. Yikes, is saying I don't deserve them. I am so done with her. You guys. Like, is she happy? Like, is she happy? You got what you wanted, Kenzie. You killed Dom. You ruined his life. The year before you murdered him, he was miserable. Shut up. I'm so angry. I think for those of us who have been there from the jump, like at this point, we're like invested, right? And so this is like so hurtful to Dom and even us. Why are we so emotionally invested? I don't know. But I feel like this is so messed up. So messed up. The emotional abuse and like Dom just he changed. We literally saw him change from 2020 to mid 2021. He was like a whole different person. Then it was like the opposite. They switched roles. Like Kenzie, like it's weird. I don't know what happened. I don't know. She says, like, that was a joke, right? It has to be. He says, holding that over my head still. She says, it has to be a joke. He says, you don't have nothing to say, so now you're just trying to dog me. Kenzie said, because there's no way you just confidently said that to me. He says, good night. Then she sends a Snapchat. And then she sends a video. He says, you barely see my face, okay? She sends another picture of them. She's sending like pictures of them. And then she says, should I hit up Kyle? Dom said, and then what? Kenzie said, I think he misses this pic too. Dom said, he's not going to care. It's a pic. Kenzie sends another pic. All I can see is Dom's face. She says, Kristen will care. Dom says, none of my business or my problem. Send it to him if you want. Oh, it's a picture of Dom and Kristen? Send it to him if you want. Wait, two people are kissing in the picture. I wish I could enlarge in it. I can't tell if he's kissing Kenzie or if he's kissing. Why would he be kissing Kristen, right? I don't know who that is. It's somebody kissing somebody. It could be Kyle kissing another girl. She says, should I hit up Kyle? Dom said, and then what? Kenzie said, I think he misses this pic too. Dom said, he's not going to care. It's a pic. She sends a pic again. Kenzie says, Kristen will care. Dom said, none of my business or my problem. Send it to him if you want. She sends a picture again. She says, oh, it's mine though. He says, or I can. Kenzie says, I'm going to give you one last chance. I'm not even going to say anything. You're going to figure this out. Dom says, nothing I have to do. I gave you flowers purely to make you happy, not because you were threatening me. Not doing this shit. You just love to see us fight. Kenzie said, this is your last ever chance. I wouldn't reply. Dom says, this shouldn't be a chance. We should be stuck together like Bug love? Not this. This isn't love. Kenzie says, I have standards for myself. I know how I want and need to be treated. Dom says, till you actually start trying to change, I'm not doing anything. I do too, babe. She sends another snap picture. He says, I put up with this too long. She says, you have until the end of today. He says, not doing shit. I'm actually mad now. You're an effed up as you're an F you're effed up as a person. My mom is in the hospital. You're still so heartless. Oh, when, Mindy? When did you become a member? Did I miss it? Melly spicy tonight. Is that new? Thank you for becoming a member. Did you do it in this live? Am I blind? I'm sorry, babe. Thank you for becoming a member. Now the end of today, I know. First, she was like, you have 5 minutes. Then she's like, no, Melly, he was never this bad. You're right, Mallory. Because this is actual life with her. I just don't get it. Oh, you missed it about 10 minutes ago? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I still don't even. Oh, wait, I see Sleepy Queen. That's about it. Just kidding. Oh, wait, yeah, I see voices. That's all I see. Anyways, thank you for joining, Mellyverse. It's so sad that Dom was dealing with his mom in the hospital at the same time. Yeah, he said, my mom is still in the hospital. You're still so heartless. Disgusting. Shows you don't care about either of us. And if you don't care about my mom, get the F out of my life. Kenzie says, you're delusional. Maybe instead of telling me I'm crazy because I haven't been getting enough sleep, you could actually try to help me. You have until the end of the day. If you were the future, if you were the future with me and you want me to be your trophy wife, I could be there, but you're gonna have to play that part first. Yeah, likewise, Kenzie. Like, are you slow? He bought everything she had. Yeah. She says, you're gonna have to play the part first. He says, you're gonna have to change first. Kenzie says, if you think anything you said to me makes me feel any type of way, it doesn't. If you think you could hurt me anymore after what you did to me, it's funny. You could literally say the most effed up thing to me and I wouldn't feel a thing. Dom said, I'm done with this shit. You can't hurt me either. He says, I'm a savage. She said, maybe one day. She said, yikes. Oh, because she says maybe one day. And that was at 7:08 a.m. And then it jumps to 6:05 p.m. And she says, yikes, your time is up. She said, thank you for wasting my whole high school experience when I could have been experimenting, figuring out who I am rather than wasting my life. You could have told me months ago that you were done trying and that you weren't going to give effort and that you aren't obsessed with me anymore. So I could have broken up with you then. Dom says, I'm still obsessed and crazy for you, but I'm not doing this breakup shit anymore. If you want me in your life, I'll be there. But you're not going to do this with all that's going on in my life. I still love you, but this is cruel. Okay, so it went from the 23rd to the 25th. Oh, wait. He says, but you're not going to do this with all that's going on in my life. That was on the 23rd, and then it jumps to the 25th. He says, I still love you, but this is cruel. He said, what is this photo thing? She says, maybe you should have tried and treated me better when you had me. He says, you have to too. What's the photo thing? Kenzie said, your Valentine's gift. And I had nothing to prove to you. You were the one that cheated on me. I'm effing ruin this relationship from the start. Thanks for letting me know we done. Dom says, the past year, I've been nothing but good to you and done everything I can for you, and you don't even realize it. I love you, but I can't deal with this every week with what's going on with my mom. If you want to be down, you can stay. But if you're going to put me through emotional stress, I can't keep doing this. It's only going to hurt me. Dom says, I shouldn't have to ask for respect, kindness, or compassion or any of that. Those should be given. I love you and I want to give you the world, but I really can't tolerate stuff right now. I hope you understand or at least try to. By the way, my mom's back in the hospital because the infection is spreading, so they might just cut out that whole part of the intestine. So this could be over soon, hopefully. I know if we were meant to be, we'll find our way, but right now isn't working for either of us, so I'm okay with whatever. And then he sends a picture of them. And she says, this is our life that you're playing with, so you have to fix this. I'm going to just block you on everything and move on with my life. I can't keep through the cycle over and over. Right now, your actions are speaking louder than your apologies ever have. If you really want this relationship, you would be chasing and working towards it. Dom says, "No, again, I've been chasing you over and over again. You're the one making this a cycle. I've spoke loud many times with my actions, but your actions are speaking louder than mine right now. If you loved me, you wouldn't be so heartless to me, especially right now. I'm just drawing the line is all I'm doing. I know if it's meant to be, it'll work out." Kenzie said, "This is on you, and I'm going to give you one last chance. I will be the best once you prove that you could be the best. If I was with somebody that you wanted to put a ring on my finger, you wouldn't be talking to me like this." Dom says, "You're the one who keeps making me prove my love over and over again. You're running from the ring. And our arguments this week aren't something that I should have, quote unquote, given chances over or something that we should have broken up over." Kenzie said, "This isn't fair. In an argument and fight, you apologize, especially when you're together. I know my worth and I know I deserve an apology after all of this. I'm not saying that you don't care for me or love me. It's just a simple apology. I shouldn't have to ask, and it makes it not special anymore. This is so sad." Dom says, "Kenzie, you were trying to make me apologize over me suggesting a breathing method that has been used since the beginning of time. And you were super rude about it too. So I deserve an apology as well. You want to just think about it more and talk later?" Kenzie says, "I will apologize for getting mad over you suggesting breathing. The rest is in your control." Dom says, "No, you should apologize for threatening to break up with me every week, especially when my mom's in the hospital. I could care less about you yelling about the breathing." Kenzie says, "Nope." She says, "Nope. Hope robbed me." Dom says, "What? WTF? Of what?" She says, "Miss Gia pants, $120. Dom says, "Did you talk to Faith about it? Maybe she can get them." Kenzie sends a screenshot. More screenshots with her friends. Text message screenshots. Kenzie said, "She left me on open when I asked, so I asked again and I'm on delivered." I hate how they jump from breaking up to changing the subject. Why didn't they just break up? That would have been ideal if that was it and they ended it there. Now she's trying to flip the screen. Sh- Dom should have broken up with Kenzie and Sherwin their family trip. I cannot get over that she said he's playing with their life. I know, Tia. Oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated with her, with him. She says, "She left me on open when I asked, so I asked again and I'm on delivered." Dom says, "You could just say you're gonna call the cops for real." Dude, chill out. It's just $120 leggings. I get it. Lululet means like, shut up, Mackenzie. Anyways, sorry for the venting. You could just say you're gonna call the cops for real. Kenzie says they all blocked me except Faith. Dom says, "Ask Faith. She probably not as immature as them." Kenzie emphasizes her own message. Dom says, "Okay, well, I don't know. I'd wait a sec and think about exactly what to do. We'll figure it out. Do you want me to try to say anything to any of them?" Wow. Dom, let her fight her own battles. Like, what a good boyfriend. Rolling my eyes. Rolling my eyes until they're stuck. She wants Dom to buy her another pair. Oh my gosh. Dios mío. He says, "Do you want me to say anything to any of them?" She says, "Unadd them all." He says, "Okay, bet." You wanna get some stuff and make some smoothie? Oh, wait, so now it jumps to the 26th. He said, "You wanna get some stuff and make some smoothies with this kale tomorrow?" She says, "How am I going to believe that you're just gonna change this time and be a good boyfriend?" Dom says, "Kenzie, it's not me anymore. I'm not gonna keep doing this." She says, "It is you, but I do react, and you're gonna have to try and prove to me that you're going to be good." Dom says, "Kenzie, you have to change first, then I can." Kenzie says, "Since when is this an argument about me? The whole reason we're arguing is because you were the one that couldn't keep your apology straight, and there's no reason that this is about me. I already apologize for getting mad at you, telling me to breathe. What is going on?" Dom says, "You didn't even apologize about that. And no, this is about you being mentally abusive to me when my mom is in the hospital." Yes, thank you. Not that she's going to listen. Dom says, "You have to change and show me you have compassion for people. Then I can change." Kenzie says, "To make this work, it's not about who changes first. It's about both of us working together to change. There needs to be hella improvement in this relationship. We both need to show each other, I'm sorry for my end and my faults. There will be change on my end, but will there be on yours? From what it looks like, you're just saying sorry to get me back." Dom says, "Kenzie, I'm always changing and getting better, but you don't even give me the bare minimum that even a person should get: respect, compassion, and kindness. What do I have to change about not about suggesting a breathing method? No, that's not something to be mad about. You put us here, and you have to change so you can stop putting us here because you don't treat me with respect, kindness, or have any compassion." Kenzie says, "You need to start being more obsessed with me." Dude, is she all right? I don't think she's well in the head. Anyone know what prison she is? She's at the I'm spacing it. Wasn't it Kinsey saying apologies don't mean anything to her? She has no empathy. I forget where she's at. She says, "You need to start being more obsessed with me, making me feel loved and reassure me all the time. Be there for me and not call me crazy because I haven't slept. Apologize just because you want to, not because I have to tell you to. I'm willing to change and be the best. Do you know how I can be? But my trust has been broken way too many times." Dom says, all of those are things I can do, but you again, you don't give me the bare minimum and haven't been for a while. I need respect, compassion, and kindness. You need to reassure you're loved just as much as I need to reassure I'm appreciated and loved. Kenzie says, "I can do that too." Question mark. So now you're not going to answer? Dom says, "I was showering." He says, "I don't know how I feel about everything right now." Dom, that's your gut instinct telling you to not allow this. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, Ohio Reformatory. That's what I was gonna say. Is that what it is? He says, "I don't know how to feel about everything right now." She says, quote unquote, "So I say what you want and then you don't answer or know how to feel. Do you want this relationship to work or not?" Dom says, "You said I can do that, but those things shouldn't even be a question." Dom says, "I'm asking you for bare minimum. Remember that. We'll talk later. Yeah, I want it to work out, but I want it to be right." Kenzie said, "It's 7:42 p.m. It is later." Dom says, "I don't want this on my mind right now. Can we talk tomorrow and just talk in person maybe? Let me know." She says, "Yeah, I guess so. Also, can you tell B we got issues and to stop screenshotting my whole effing story?" Dom says he screenshotted and sent it to me because you posted with my money. She loved her own message. And that was at 8:39 PM. And then the next day on the 27th at 11:13 oh, wait. That was at 8:39 PM. And then at 11:13 PM, he says, I love you. She says, love you too. Then at 11 o'clock AM, he says, new euphoria is tonight. She said, I know. She questioned his message where he said, can we talk tomorrow? He says, what do you want to talk about? She says, you're the one who wanted to talk. She sent a screenshot. Dom says, you're trying to talk about us, and I wasn't trying to. I don't think there's much to talk about right now. Kenzie says, after breaking up, arguing for 4 days, talking everything out, me apologizing, you say that? If you don't think there's much to talk about right now, I don't think there's much of a relationship. Dom says, what do you want to talk about? The fact that you broke up with me for suggesting a breathing method when my mom is in the hospital? My mom does the breathing now too for her pain, by the way. He says, I'm about to shower. She sends a bunch of screenshots, like 10 of them. And then she sends an audio message. Okay. And then she says, you're literally the one that asked me to talk in person. How come you're the one who hasn't done anything that they said they were going to do to be better? So far, you've just been worse. You know, I'm mad at you for more reasons other than just requesting breathing. And you know that, don't know why that comment had to hurt you so bad. Now stop bringing it up because it's over with. Do you want this relationship to work or not? She says at 11:55 AM. He says, Kenzie, you're asking me to be better. I'm asking you for bare minimum. That's not equal. Like you've mentally been abusive in a very stressful part of my life, threatening to snitch on me too, threatening to ruin my life. She sends a screenshot. Were you on rugs last night or something? Reread all the screenshots I sent you. Dom said, I had a margarita. That's it. But that was after we talked. Kenzie says, should have known. He says, again, disrespectful. It was after we talked, too. Kenzie loved her own message. He says, I'm reading them. It's just me telling you how you have no kindness and compassion for anyone. Kenzie says, you're joking? Question mark. Right now, you're the only one not trying to make this relationship work. Dom says, what are you trying to get at? Like, I dropped it. You could have just shown me. Now you're bringing up shit for no reason. Kenzie says, it shouldn't be a question for you to randomly get me flowers. It shouldn't be a question for you to reassure me that you love me. It shouldn't be a question. Hype me up. It shouldn't be a question to text me and just check up on me. Do you want this relationship to work or not? He says, you should never threaten to snitch on me. You should never be disrespectful when I'm trying to help. She says, do you want this relationship to work or not? Dom says, you should never do any of those things when my mom is in the hospital. She emphasizes her message. Do you want this to work or not? And then he says, these past 2 weeks have been you have been the most insensitive person I have ever met. She emphasizes the same message again. Dom says, if you want this relationship to work, you will treat me with respect, kindness, and have compassion for people. Kenzie said, same goes to you. He says, nothing else I have to say. I'm not going to bring someone flowers if they don't know how to be kind to me. Kenzie says, and I'm not going to be kind to somebody if they don't know how to make me feel loved. Dom says, if you show me, you'll start seeing more from me. Kenzie says, I don't think you've ever apologized to me on your own. Dom says, I don't feel loved or appreciated either, and neither have you. You didn't even say sorry earlier. She said, I have multiple times. I apologized for yelling at you, for breathing and the other stuff. Dom said, show me the message. Show me. Because I don't remember. Probably wasn't much of an apology. She says, stop texting now. Like WTF. And then she sends screenshots. She says, "Thanks for letting me know you don't read a word I text you." Dom says, "I remember both those texts, still not much of an apology. You didn't even be specific. That first text was you saying you were going to apologize. The next text was just so vague." She says, "No, that is me apologizing." He said, "Must have took a lot." Kenzie says, "And no, it doesn't matter how much or how little of an apology it is. It's an apology, and I apologize more than you ever did." No, Kenzie, I call bullshit. You like never apologized. I don't even think sorry is in your vocabulary. Why do people think that sorry makes you weak? I used to think that when I was really petty and young until I became an adult. What did I miss? What did I miss? Did I miss something? Hmm. Yeah, the chat's like delayed on my screen. I don't know what it is. Sucks. Kenzie is a bad seed. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Shug. There it is. I found it. Thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate it. Really helps. I really do truly appreciate it. And shout out to the people who have been sending me coffees. I did just want to say that. I don't want to be so rude and not be considerate. Alicia, thank you, babes. I always get your cash apps. I just got one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That helps towards the next set of documents that I want to buy. Third verse sent me coffee as well. Go follow her. She covers a lot of Lori Daybell. Wait, what? Lori Daybell? Lori Val? Chad Daybell. Love her channel. And then MM bought me coffees as well yesterday. So shout out to you guys for buying me coffees. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She never apologized to Dom. It's coming, Alicia. Thank you. She's like, "Where's your phone?" It's coming. Um, and thank you for the super sticker. You no, you didn't, Whittle. She couldn't stand that Dom was giving his sick mom attention. You know how much he says he loves his mom, like, really breaks my heart, especially at this time. Oh, was that you, Marvin? Thank you for the coffees. That's very nice of you. Thank you. You know how he's, like, so obsessed with his mom, like, that just breaks my heart because she's probably not over it, like, she's probably not over it. So that sucks. Dom says, "I've apologized a million times." Kenzie says, "You're really trying to make this go bad, huh?" She says, "You haven't." She says, "Well, the thing about your apologies are they don't mean an effing thing because every time you apologize, you repeat the action that you apologized for." Dom says, "What? I repeat, suggesting a breathing method?" Kenzie said, "So your apologies literally don't mean an effing thing at this point. It's going to have to be physical evidence." Dom says, "I repeat saying something dumb." Kenzie says, "Are you still hooked up on that offend you?" Dom says, "I repeat, taking pictures bad? Question mark. Kenzie said that breathing method must really must have hurt you. Wow." Dom says, "What else do I repeat? You repeatedly hurt me over and over again these past months in a very stressful part of my life." Kenzie says, "Tell me how I'm supposed to be there for you when you don't even tell me your mom is back in the hospital." He did. If you were not too busy being a raging bitch, Kenzie, you would have comprehended that. Not that she would even care. She says, "For real, let me know." He says, "Look, this is how it's going to go." Kenzie says, "Because you're the one who just keeps it all to yourself. I was literally at your house when your mom got sent back to the hospital, and you were the one who wanted to be a little bitch about it and not tell me. And I was there, and I could have been there for you, but instead you kept quiet." Dom says, "You treat me like a human being, and you'll get more from me, but I need the bare minimum." She says, "So please, I would love to know how you want me to be there for you if you're not going to tell me what the F she's back in the hospital and when she's not. Answer me now." He says, "Before I can give you anything more." Kenzie says, "Tell me how I'm supposed to be there for you when you don't even tell me your mom is back in the hospital. Because you're the one who just keeps it all to yourself." Oh, she copied and pasted. She said, "I would literally be at your house when your mom got sent back to the hospital." The same message. Dom says, "You can be there for me by not being terribly rude and mean to me and not threaten me. That's how you can be there for me. Again, so you show me bare minimum that all human beings deserve, and yeah, you'll get more from me. If I don't get bare minimum, then I'm done." Kenzie says, "Then you can answer the phone on time, reassure me that you love me, be there for me whenever I need you, make me feel loved, actually try to have conversations with me, plan cute stuff, and keep your apologies and don't lie to my face." Kenzie, I think the things you're listing here are very much like if you did the same things, someone would give you that much back. Like, just don't be a piece of shit. I don't know. That goes both ways. Friendships and relationships, YouTube friend, YouTube creator to YouTube creator. That's just it. Don't be a piece of shit. Lesson of the day. Take notes. We have an exam at the end of the week. I fell asleep. Is this still the same fight? Yes, it is. Wake up. She says, "And actually keep your apologies and don't lie to my face." Dom says, "If I didn't love you, I wouldn't have blocked you and never talked to you again. As soon as you said you were going to snitch on me, if I don't answer the phone for 1 minute, it's not a big deal. And I'm always there for you when you need me, unless you're rude. You need to try to have conversations too. And I can keep all the apologies unless it's over some dumb shit like you're trying to make me apologize over breathing. Now, where are we going to go from here?" Kenzie says, "If you're going to be better, I'm not going to be better. If you're not, I'm not. You have a lot of proving to do, and I'm not saying I don't." Dom says, "You have to do your proving first. You don't treat people like that. You're asking for more. I'm asking for bare minimum. Remember that. You show me you can be a kind person and don't threaten me all the time. You'll see a lot more from me." Kenzie said, "It's not about who does it first. It's about working together, and clearly you're not getting that." Dom says, "Kenzie, I'm asking you not to threaten. You should never threaten me in the first place. I'm asking for the bare minimum." Kenzie says, "And I should never feel not loved." Dom says, "I'm asking for things that shouldn't be asked for." Kenzie says, "I should never feel alone." Dom says, "I don't feel loved either. I feel used." So we're pretty much in March almost. At this point, Dom was out. He was like, "I don't want her anymore. She's ridiculous. So annoying. Every time he's brought up his mom, she turned the combo to her. She's jealous." I don't know what kind of human Kenzie is. Oh, Rochelle, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, babelet. We love you here. Seriously, this is what gets me. He literally had nobody to turn and help him get away from the abusive monster. I know. I know. This chat could write the book on trauma. I know, we've learned a lot, haven't we? Maybe that's because we're all invested in Mellyverse. We are here for each other. I love this. We are here for each other. I love that. Thank you. He probably needed to talk to his mom, but wouldn't because she was sick. I bet you she told him to leave her all a lot, and just like we see their stubbornness in these texts, that's probably how it was in real life. I can relate though. Like, I used to date someone my dad didn't like, and it created a lot of tension. Dom says, "I don't feel loved either. I feel used." Kenzie says, "Good. You know now how I feel the first 2 years of our relationship. I think you all the time, and I tell you I appreciate you. What more do you effing want?" "I thank you," she says. Dom says, "It's not about now, not about then." Kenzie said, this relationship is either going to work or it's not. Dom says, if you want a future, you got to look at the future. He says, not the past. You look at obstacles, you know what you're going to run into. Obstacles. You look at the goal, you know where you're going to go. The goal. I mean, yeah, there's only two ways a relationship can go. Kenzie emphasized this relationship is either going to work or not. Dom says, we will both work together, but if I don't get normal human respect, I'm not doing anything. I shouldn't even have to ask you for this. I shouldn't have to ask you not to threaten me. Kenzie says, I shouldn't be with the boy who effed both of my best friends, but look at me now. Okay, well, no one's holding a pew pew up to your head. So no one's forcing you to be with Dom. She makes me sick, Amy. I know. At least she can't F up anyone's life now. You can say that again. Yeah, I get it, Millie. He probably needed to talk to his mom. Oh, yeah, I already read that one. I'm here for the text, to be honest. Okay, Sleepy Queen. She says, I shouldn't be with the boy who effed both of my best friends, but look at me now. Dom says, I told you from the start I want normal. Kenzie says, your attitude is honestly make me not want to do this, so I would change that. Dom says, I told you what you were getting into. Kenzie said, that was part of your problem that you said you would change and you still haven't. Dom says, I can't change who I was or my past. Kenzie says, well, you can reassure me that you will never do that to me again, which is really hard for you to do and you've never done it. That's bullshit. He's reassured her so many times, especially in 2021. She's not well. Dom says, I reassure you all the time. We have He says, "We haven't had sex for a year. You think I'm really gonna care? After you know I have effed up life, which led me to shitty beliefs about people in life. I used to think love was just an insecurity to make people feel good. I used to think a lot of effed up things. I tell you those things so hopefully you can understand me and understand that I don't mean harm. That's just how I grew up. How am I supposed to look at love after seeing what it did to my mom?" Oh my gosh. I might actually cry on the live. Oh no. I fell in love with you peeps. Melly and Mons do a great job. Aw, thanks, Chris. We love you here, Babelet. I feel like Hannah taught her how to treat Dom like a dog. Yes, please hit the like. What the F? What attitude? Caring? I know. She's anything but caring. Dom says, how am I supposed to look at love after seeing what it did to my mom? Like now I'm crying again. Oh my God, I might really cry. Dom says, the only person I loved as a kid, I just seen get hurt over and over again and abused by people. You can decide to be with me, new me, who's an effing boss, or you can break up with me because of who I used to be. It's your choice. Kenzie said, this is why I said we should talk in person, but you said there's nothing to talk about. Dom says, when I see you, I'm just going to want to hug you and not think about it. I just wanted to throw this to the side and you show me you can treat me with respect and kindness, and then you'll start seeing a lot more from me. But I can't do big things for you if I don't feel secure in the relationship. How am I supposed to feel when you threaten me like that? I don't feel loved. I'll tell you that. Kenzie said, see, that's not how it's going to work. It's not going to be I change, then you change. It's going to be at the same time, or this isn't going to be a relationship. Dom says, Kenzie, I shouldn't have to ask you to give me respect or kindness or have compassion. That's the bare minimum. You already get all of that from me. So how is that? So yeah, that's how it's going to go for real. Kenzie says, I shouldn't have to ask you to text me and want to talk to me and make me feel loved and reassure me that you're not going to cheat on me again. Does she have a brain in her skull? Because I'm really concerned. Is she actually an alien? I say I'm an alien here, but like, really? Because we see him apologize, buy her $500 shoes, he buys her $150 dinner every week. He gives her all the rugs. Like, no, she's brainless. That's what I thought. Damn it. No, Dom. I know. Oh my God. Let me know in the chat if you've ever been in a toxic relationship like this, because I feel like probably most of us have. Do we need to talk? Okay, let's move on. Reassure me that you're not going to cheat on me again. No, it's at the same time or I'm done. Dom says, you sure? Kenzie says, yes, I am. Dom said, because you know I'm asking you for bare minimum. That's all I'm asking you for. Kenzie says, if you can't change at the same time as me, then we're done. This is like how you can tell her lack of like maturity, because it's like that's not how it works, Kenzie. Like, he's older than you. The brain's not even working the same. The age difference matters, even if it's just a few years. Like, I don't get it. But we grown and know. That's right, Marvin. With 1 year, no schmecks. Sorry, but why is he with her? Yeah, I don't know. I'm asking myself the same thing. She says, if you can't change at the same time as me, then we're done. I'm not going to try for somebody that doesn't make me feel good at all. Same time or nothing. Dom says, let me think about this then. Kenzie said, no, that's not how it's going to work. You had 4 days to think about this. I'm seriously effing done. Pick now. Dom says, not picking now. If you want me to, just leave then. She's like getting desperate because she's like, oh shit, he might actually break up with me. I wish he did. She says, if you want this relationship to work, you would be agreeing to work at the same time. Dom says, Kenzie, I'm asking you for the bare minimum that I shouldn't have to ask for. Kenzie says, I shouldn't have to ask you for reassurance. Dom says, I need reassurance too, but I'm not asking. Kenzie says, I shouldn't have to ask you to apologize. I shouldn't have to ask you to text me back on time. She says, I'm not doing this anymore, or you're going to try this relationship or not. Dom says, I text you back fine. If my hands are full, you can't complain. Kenzie says, you do not text back fine. Dude, that's like all they do is text. Oh my gosh. She says, stop trying to change up everything I effing say. If that's how I feel, that's how I feel. You're going to understand that. Dom says, I'm not going to try, but I need equality in this relationship. She says, are you not reading? What the fuck? Like, seriously, are you okay? 5 question marks. Why are you not reading? We have had this same convo multiple times now. How many times in caps are you going to make me say we are both going to try and change at the same time, or it's nothing? Literally with 10 G's. Why are you not letting, what are you not getting? Please tell me so I can explain to you. Dom says, I am getting it. Kenzie says, no, you're not. Dom says, it's just the fact that we're trading $1 for $10, not a fair trade. Kenzie says, we have been through this convo 80 times. Dom says, I'm giving you $10. You're giving me $1. Dom says, I'm asking you for bare minimum. You're asking for improvements. Kenzie said, if you want this relationship to work, you're going to change at the same time as me, and we're both going to change at the same time. And if that can't happen, and neither can this relationship, do you want this relationship to work or not? And I'm so happy that you think you're giving $10. That is not how I feel at all. Dom says, should have known you can't even give me bare minimum. I'm not going to agree on anything when you can't do something you should have been doing. I don't know what I do. And I know what I do, and I know I do more, and that's a fact. Kenzie says, I'm not saying I'm going to give the bare minimum. I'm saying I'm going to be better than the bare minimum. What is going on in your head? This is really getting old. Dom says, okay, Kenzie, I'll be better. Kenzie says, do you want this relationship with me or not? Dom says, but if you don't give me bare minimum, I'm not doing anything. Kenzie says, I'm so effing over this conversation. Dom says, I deserve more than that too. Kenzie says, do you think you're the only one going through shit? I just lost all my friends. They robbed me. Most of them going through a breakup. I'm not eating any food, and I live in a toxic household, and you don't hear me bringing any of that up. Actually, pause. Yes, we do. You bitch about it all the time. Your friends know you're shitty, and no one robbed you, quote unquote, from your stinky ass leggings. Moving on. If you make me feel loved and good, I'm going to make you feel loved and good. If you can't do that, I'm going to break up with you. I'm not doing this to myself anymore. Dom says, yeah, but I don't put you through anything. When you're going through shit, you broke up with me. And you have to be happy by yourself before you can be happy with anyone else. If you're not happy alone, it's going to be hard to feel happy and loved when you're with someone. Kenzie says, I'm going through all of that right now. 7 question marks. Dom says, question mark. Kenzie removes the question marks. She says, do you want to talk in person? No. It's like a movie and I'm like screaming at the screen. Dom says, I don't want to talk anymore. Let's just show. And they get sucked right back into this toxic relationship. Okay, sorry. Was I being mean? There's going to be issues. Narcissists will talk in circles with no conclusion, like �ْ𝐤𝐧. I know. It's not a relationship. It's a situationship. True. Let's talk about me. Mallory's like, no. Okay, he says, I don't want to talk anymore. Let's just show. Kenzie said, so what does that mean? He says, I'm cool with trying again. I can't. She says, okay, good. Then we can do that. No. She says, don't let me down. I won't let you. She says, question mark, question mark, question mark. More question marks. More question marks. 5 more question marks. And then it jumps to him saying, you want to play Fortnite? She sends 4 question marks. He said, I just put that. It doesn't mean anything. She says, I'm on Fort. He says, I seen you pop up. I was about to play. Let me hit the bong real quick and I'm ready. Kenzie says, Euphoria at your house or mine? Dom says, probably mine. Should I make steaks? Kenzie says, I don't know. Then she calls him and apparently he hangs up because she said, okay, hang up. Why did you just do that? Dom said, it was rude, the stuff I'm talking about. Kenzie said, and hanging up on me is what I'm talking about. That wasn't rude. I was laughing about it and you made it weird. Do you want this relationship to work or not, Dom? Dom says, I thought you were trying to be rude. Kenzie says, why would I do that just after I apologize to you? I don't fake apologize. Dom said, I don't know. That's the energy I felt though. It's whatever. Kenzie said, no, seriously though. Why would I get ingredients for you though if we were broken up? It just doesn't make any sense. And I was joking. It's not something to get mad about. Thank you for ruining the conversation. Dom says, you were just being super sarcastic. I don't know exactly what you meant. You don't got to be more rude now. Kenzie said, I wasn't. And I'm not being more rude now. Dom says, thank you for ruining that conversation. He repeated what she said. She says, that is not rude. You were the one who just repeated old patterns and hung up on me for no reason. Old patterns? It's the same effing day. You give a person 1 minute to improve on something they don't even need to improve on. Kenzie says, repeating old patterns again. I don't think an emoji is a mature response for a relationship. Dom says, I hung up because I thought you were being rude. You could have just said I wasn't. Kenzie said, okay, and I wasn't, and now you can apologize. Dom said, then I could have just said, okay. Sorry, I hung up. Kenzie said, no, not if we're both trying to be better, because right now I'm the only one being better. Well, thank you for apologizing before I had to ask. JK, see, I already had to tell you to apologize. You couldn't do it on your own. We'll just end this conversation here, I guess. Dom said, that was the dumbest shit ever, but okay. Kenzie said, already calling names as well? Dom said, no, not calling names. You're being toxic. Kenzie said, so you can't apologize on your own or not call me names? She says, I'm not being toxic at all. She says, you were the one who said you were going to try, and part of trying was apologizing without me asking first. And right now, I'm trying really hard to not be a bitch, but I'm being nice. Dom says, you made a terrible joke that I thought was rude, so I hung up on you. You could have just said you weren't trying to be rude, and I could have said my bad, but then you make it such a big deal. Kenzie says, I keep my apologies when I apologize. Dom said, and that was barely something to apologize for. That was a mistake that was blown out of proportion. Kenzie said, once again, with you belittling something that I don't think is little. Dom said, me hanging up on you is something big? Question mark. A misunderstanding is big? Question mark. That could be fixed in 1 second. Kenzie said, yes, 4 question marks, especially after we just had a 4-day fight. We broke up and you just apologized. Dom says, see how when you said you weren't being rude, I didn't care, but you have to hold on to it? Kenzie said, the misunderstanding would have been small if you didn't just hang up, or if you just apologized too, right after I told you that it wasn't rude. She sends screenshots. You could have apologized right then and everything would have been good. You chose to keep going. Dom says, no, you did this. This is so dumb. Kenzie said, which proves my point that your apologies mean nothing because you can't not break them. Oh, another name call? He said, this. See, I'm not talking to you right now. Kenzie says, and I didn't do anything. I was joking with you on the phone and you just hung up on me. Dom said, because you're being toxic AF, trying to be so hard, trying to be right so hard, you twisting my shit. Kenzie says, if you don't talk this through, then I'm gonna just block you and not try. Didn't you just apologize for this? You're literally proving yourself wrong right now. Dom said, this is so toxic. No. Block me, he says. Like I said, I was sorry. Damn. Kenzie says, I'm not twisting a single thing you said. Dom says, you keep going and going. Kenzie says, after I told you to. Dom said, I keep saying this is dumb and you keep going. Kenzie said, so it doesn't mean anything. And I know you're just going to do this again. Dom said, name calling? That's so toxic. Like you're making me mad. Just drop it. Like it was a misunderstanding. Kenzie said, you think it's dumb, which is telling me you're not going to mean anything you're saying. You're just going to do this again. It's more than that. Dom says, obviously, if I hung up on you and you weren't being rude, it was a misunderstanding. Like, chill. I was even telling you that. Kenzie said, this is not you trying. Dom said, you could have just known I thought you were being rude and dropped it. Like, this is so fried. Kenzie said, I knew you were mad, which is why I texted you. Are we really going to go in circles about this again? Or are you just going to be a man and admit you were wrong and just broke your apology? I can see what I said came across as rude, but it wasn't. Dom says, no, you're trying to prove me wrong, which is toxic AF. Kenzie says, I'm not trying to prove you wrong. What the F is wrong with you? Dom says, I really didn't because I thought you were being rude. He emphasized his message. Kenzie says, no, you literally did because I had to tell you to apologize and you couldn't do it on your own. Dom says, you just want to control me. It's weird AF. Kenzie said, is that so? Dom said, like, just leave it alone. Kenzie said, is that the third time you've called me a name? Dom says, yeah, that's how I feel. Kenzie said, this will seriously be the end. You're showing me who you really are. Dom said, again, not name calling. Kenzie said, and I don't care if I'm showing you who I am too. I'm the only one trying to change here. Dom says, you're being crazy and toxic. Bye. She says, fourth name. Sixth. She says, if you don't handle this, you're just proving yourself wrong. Like, it's honestly hilarious. Don't tell me you're trying to change and then do this. Literally, not even 50 minutes later. Dom says, leave me the F alone. I'm pissed off at AF right now. I'm gonna go work out. He says, no, you're not changing. I don't give an F. Kenzie says, wow, thank you for avoiding your problems. You don't care that you have no trust and your apologies mean nothing. Dom says, Kenzie, if you don't stop texting me, being toxic, I'ma block you. I'm already mad. Kenzie said, I'm telling you exactly how I feel in a respectful way, and you're the one having a temper tantrum. Dom says, you're not leaving me alone. Leave me alone now. Kenzie says, I don't care if you're mature and want this relationship to work. You will be mature and have this conversation normally. Dom says, you're not having it normally. Now stop. Kenzie said, last chance. Dom says, you're twisting my words and trying to prove me wrong and hold it over my head. That's toxic AF. Sure, I could have not hung up on you, but it was a misunderstanding. Kenzie said, quote unquote, I'm cool with you trying again. My ass. Dom says, nothing you have been doing is a misunderstanding. You're harassing me over something that was a misunderstanding. You're literally harassing me. Kenzie said, I'm harassing you? Question mark. Dom says, yes. Kenzie said, yeah, we're done. Dom said, okay. Kenzie says, I should have known that every goddamn word that came out of your mouth was an effing lie. Like, goddamn, you're the most effed up mother effer I've met in my whole effing life. Like, what is wrong with you? You literally ruin anything you do when you can't keep a single word. Like, what the F do you just lie all effing day long and treat the people who gave you their word? And worst, if we were never together, you would be the piece of shit that you were when I first started dating you. And clearly that's coming back out. I'm just reading to you guys. Makes me hate her so much. Her gaslighting skills are off the chain. He showed the restraint of a saint. I wish his friends or Angela would get him out of the house. Holy dude. These are intense. Shug says, I'm sure he was hoping for her to break up with him. He couldn't due to her threats and blackmail. I wonder if Davion helped Dom to see her true colors, influencing his change with her. I hope the Shirilla 𝐷𝐞𝐥𝐿 family watches this. Let's continue. Kenzie said, just because your mom is in the hospital doesn't give you the excuse to treat me like this. He didn't even do anything. Oh my gosh. She says, I actually thought you were going to try and be good. I should have known when you literally forced me to apologize multiple times after I did. Dom says, Kenzie, this is over a hang up. Chill. Like, just drop it. You're being toxic. She says, one more smartass reply and you're getting blocked. Dom says, Kenzie, I don't care. I said I was sorry about the call. This is over your shitty ass. Kenzie said, this is over your shitty ass lies and how you can't keep a single word that comes out of your mouth. Dom says, I will drop it if you do. Kenzie says, you can't keep a single word that comes out of your mouth. Dom says, this is such a petty argument. Kenzie says, you're literally a liar. You're right, because now it is. Since you want to name call. Dom said, I never was. Kenzie said, and tell me I'm toxic for trying to work this out. You're the one who can't keep your promises and apologies. You break it not even an hour after you apologize. Dom says, Kenzie, there's a time and place for everything. Kenzie said, you apologize to get your way. I apologize for my future. I thought you were actually going to try in this relationship. I should have known. Dom says, you're being toxic. Kenzie says, you can't keep a single word that comes out of your mouth. If I think a problem is big, it's a big problem. Is that so? I mean, call me a name one more time and I'll crush your soul. She's a psychopath. I'll crush your soul. She says, oh, and you're telling me right now you don't give a single F about this relationship because you don't know how serious I am. Okay, yeah, this is a threat. Clearly, right. We see why you drove that car into the building 100 miles per hour. Yes, it's very visible here. Thank you, Detective Man, for putting it in the evidence package because she's a psycho biatch. Dom says, Kenzie, I'm dropping it. You can too. She said, all you've done is hurt me all morning and I've been trying so hard to try. Dom says, you're mad right now. Stop talking when you're mad. Kenzie says, no, I'm not. I'm effing hurt. You don't give a single F about this relationship. She says, I'm done. Dom says, okay, cool, Kenzie. I would say stuff, but I'm not even going to because it's just going to cause more of an argument. That whole fight was really dumb. Don't say I'm trying to call you dumb. In a misunderstanding, none of any of that should have been said. Kenzie said, when you want to prove going to try and actually make this relationship work and stop doing exactly what you just apologized for, maybe we can try again and you prove yourself wrong every single time. This isn't on me anymore because I was trying. Dom says, Kenzie, that was some dumb shit and a misunderstanding. That was not a good example. You can drop it and then we can be good or break up with me over it. I don't care anymore. I'm not trying to keep putting my time and energy over little arguments. Kenzie said, are you seriously still calling the situation dumb? Dom says, Kenzie, it was a phone call. Like I said, I was sorry. Dom says, sorry, I called you toxic and stuff. Kenzie says, do you know what is dumb? You lying to my face, telling me that you're going to change and be better, than literally doing the exact same thing that you just apologized for. Dom says, but I don't want to argue over this shit. Kenzie says, I literally had to tell you to apologize. Why would I even believe you? I told you to apologize. I think you saying sorry for calling me toxic is the first time you've apologized to me in our whole 3 years. No, Kenzie, he apologizes every day. Dom says, you told me before I can say it. Kenzie said, stopped acting like you were going to say it. Dom said, sure. You were so quick to say I didn't apologize. That's what I mean by being toxic. Like, give me the chance. Kenzie sends a screenshot. Dom says, you were so quick to try to prove me wrong. Kenzie says, you could have apologized right there. Dom says, look, if you look for the obstacles, you're going to hit obstacles. Kenzie says, I thought you were trying to be rude. I'm sorry. Dom says, if you avoid them, you avoid them. Kenzie says, there shouldn't be 85 obstacles right after you apologized for hitting 5. Get it together or I'm blocking you. They're confusing me. Dom says, yeah, I could have just said it next message, but you started saying shit. Kenzie said, I'm so done. You literally make me feel like shit and so effing unloved and uncared for. I tried to hang out and talk this morning. You caused an argument, even though you weren't the one that asked me to make smoothies and talk. Dom says, yeah, I'm hurt. You threatened to snitch on me. WTF. Kenzie says, what do you mean WTF? Do I need to show you? Dom said, Kenzie, please just drop this. Kenzie says, honestly, I'm not dropping it. You literally fake apologize to me multiple times a day. Like, how am I going to trust a word that comes out of your mouth? I seriously can't. Dom says, you were making me feel like I was going crazy there. Kenzie said, I can't even trust the one thing that you're supposed to trust. Dom says, like, it's an apology over a phone call. Kenzie said, how many effing times do I have to say it doesn't matter what it's for or how small you think it is? You just apologized to me and said you were going to show me that you were going to be better. Then you just fake apologize and prove yourself wrong. Dom says, okay, I'm gonna go work out. Sorry about the misunderstanding. You can choose to drop it or break up with me. Your choice. She says, is that seriously how you're going to choose to react to this? That's another thing you're not going to say anymore if you want this relationship to work. We are going to change together, or I'm not changing at all. I can't trust a word that comes out of your mouth. Dom says, okay, we can change together, but right now you're pushing my limit. Kenzie says, I'm pushing your limit, but you're the one who hung up on me and caused this whole argument. Dom says, I've changed for years and progressively got better, and you have progressively been getting worse. Dom says, it didn't have to be an argument. Kenzie said, as soon as I told you it wasn't rude, you could have said, I'm sorry, but I had to tell you, you can't apologize on your own. Dom says, you told me before I can say it. Kenzie said, you have to be told. Dom said, like, damn circles and circles, can this convo just be over? She said, is that so? Dom says, and agree that it's a big misunderstanding. Kenzie says, why are you trying to hurt me? Do you think you've gotten better? Dom said, I said I was sorry multiple times about multiple things. Kenzie said, the only thing that has changed with you because you're not cheating on me anymore. Dom says, I'm not trying to hurt you. Like, damn. Kenzie says, you are. Dom says, you need to back it up if you think that. Kenzie says, I don't know how this relationship is going to work. You can't keep your apology. You can't keep apologize. You can't even apologize on your own. You can't have a mature conversation with me. You're not even trying like you said you were going to. I'm the only one trying. Dom says, you're trying to prove yourself right is all you're trying to do. Let me get a drink of water. Okay, sorry. They're going around in circles. I know. I'm getting dizzy. Oh my God, stop. Oh my God, her and the cheating. She needs to stop. Why is she so stupid? She sounds like an idiot, says Carrie. Dom says, you're trying to prove yourself right is all you're trying to do. Kenzie said, I'm telling you how I feel. There's a difference. Dom says, and you didn't even give me the chance to say sorry before you started being rude. Like, Kenzie, I would have said sorry. Okay, now she's sending a screenshot. Dom says, okay, and see, you threatened me. Kenzie said, quote unquote, I thought you were trying to be rude. I'm sorry. Dom said, before you gave me a chance to apologize. Kenzie said, I'm asking you if you want this relationship to work. It's not a threat, it's a question. Dom says, do you want this relationship to work or not? He says, that's a threat, babe. Kenzie says, how are you talking to me and hanging up on me is not wanting to make a relationship work. Oh, and the ads? Yeah, suck it up, babes. I'm sorry. Girls gotta do what a girl's gotta do. Hey, Abuelita. She says, how are you talking to me and hanging up on me is not wanting to make a relationship work. It's not a question. Dom says, Kenzie, I was just as offended as you are now. I thought you were being rude, not wanting it to work. Kenzie said, that was a question I was asking you, if you want the relationship to work or not. It's a yes or no question. Dom said, I was mad for a sec. You could have let it calm down. I was going to say I'm sorry. Kenzie said, that shouldn't make you mad. Question mark, question mark. Dom says, you went right at me though, trying to prove me wrong, talking about a relationship. Kenzie says, I shouldn't have to tell you to apologize. Dom says, Kenzie, I was mad because I thought you were being rude. Kenzie says, I'm not trying to prove you wrong. Oh my effing God, what is wrong with you? Dom says, and then you got mad at me. Kenzie said, I mean, you're calling me dumb and toxic. Dom says, why can't we just drop all the things that were said when we were mad? Kenzie said, I'm still mad because you're still not trying. Dom said, because you know we don't mean them. Kenzie said, why would I drop all of this when you're just going to do this again in a couple of days? Dom said, Kenzie, I've tried so hard this year. Kenzie said, it doesn't matter. Dom said, my heart is broken right now. I'm emotionally exhausted. Dom, we're emotionally exhausted. Cheese and rice. Like, I bet Melly asks questions at work and then says question mark, question mark. I'm going to start a series on my life about that. She loves it. Hey, Ruth. My ex used to do this circle crap, could not resolve it. You guys, this is so exhausting. He says, my heart is broken right now. I'm emotionally exhausted. Dom says, I'm not trying to go off the deep end. Oh, no. Kenzie says, I've literally been in bed for 5 days with no friends, and we have been having our issues going on. Stop trying to make yours seem worse than mine. Everybody has their own problems going on. Dom said, Kenzie, I know you have issues. That's why I give you slack. Kenzie said, oh, for real? Is that so, Dom? Question mark. Dom says, for real, you're the only person who can threaten to snitch on me and not do nothing. She sends 4 question marks. Dom says, like, that's crazy. Cross the line and I didn't do shit because I know you haven't been good. Like, please leave this alone now. We both know we care about each other. Kenzie says, if we have issues, then what are you? I would seriously watch your mouth. Then she says again, I would seriously watch your mouth. And she sends again, like, I would seriously watch your mouth. Like, for real. Dom says threats. I'm done with this combo. If you want it to work, you can drop it. Kenzie said, this is about you. Dom said, because this is only going to get worse. Kenzie said, this is about you not following up with your apologies. Dom said, Kenzie, that's the last time I'm going to say it. Kenzie said, you can't keep your word. Dom says, you said it before I could. Kenzie says, you're just saying that to get your way. Dom says, and you're trying to prove me wrong and keep this argument toxic. Kenzie says, like 5 question marks, calling names again. Dom says, you're trying to hold it over my head to get your way. Everyone, let's take a deep breath. Kenzie says, so stop breaking your apologies. Dom said, that's toxic too. I said, this is an argument, not you. You keep doing that. Kenzie says, you're the only one calling names. Dom says, twisting my words. If you're convinced that was a name call, I'm blocking you. Kenzie said, I'm sending screenshots. That's not twisting words. You called me toxic and dumb and crazy. Well, damn. I mean, it's the truth. This is your fault, babe. What? What did I do? Say, oh, Drakey. Little Drakey says, you have 2.25 seconds or we're done. You're going to jail and I'll be the president. Blocked. Stop. Please don't block me. Dump her. I know. Thank you for the super chat, Jakey. That's really nice. Thank you. Thank you. She's the one that keeps saying stuff and she still wants. I know. You guys, I know. I'm right there with you. Breathe. Exactly. Breathing techniques. What is it that he does? Oh, it's Wim Hof, the Wim Hof breathing method. Activate your full human potential. Beginners. The breathing method for beginners involves 30 deep breaths, followed by a breath hold, and then a recovery breath. To begin, find a comfortable position and take 30 rounds of a deep rhythmic breaths, pushing your belly out on the inhale and relaxing on the exhale. On the 31st breath, exhale fully and hold your breath for as long as you can. When you can't hold it any longer, take a deep recovery breath, hold it for 15 seconds, and then exhale completely. Repeat the cycle 3 to 4 times. So, you guys just got a little lesson. I don't know. Just smoke a joint too. Don't know. Whatever you want to do. Whatever works for you. Okay, moving on. She says, you called me toxic, dumb, and crazy within this combo. Dom says, okay, blocked. Kenzie says, oh, and that I have issues. Block me and we're done for good. Dom says, then stop texting me. You're twisting my words. I'm done if I block you. I'm done if I block you and we're done, then I don't care. I'm done. I've been amazing this week. And the first day we're back, you're trying to hold this over my head. Kenzie says, we not back. I'm not holding it over your head. You simply can't apologize on your own. You call names. Uncaring AF. Def not trying either. Reread the combo. If you've been so great, then end this for good. If you don't need me, then bye. Dom says, okay, Kenzie. She said, so what will it be? Oh my God. I kind of feel better. Did you do the breathing? Good. It helps. Okay, well, maybe we'll do like an after dark where we just practice those breathing techniques. I'm down. What are we doing? Trash pickup is on Thursday. What does that mean? You mean Kenzie? You lost me at 30. Dude, I don't even remember what I said. So let's just move on and we can practice the breathing techniques later. She says, so what will it be? And since, you know what? Kenzie has not spelled since correctly once. I've been monitoring it. I will go through all of these text messages if I have to. Don't try me. She spells since SENSE, but she means like SINCE. Wait, what? Did that make sense? SENSE? Yeah, it did. She's spelling it like the Sixth Sense, but it's like since, not and since you have a hard time. It's like and since Kenzie. Before you bully people and talk shit, learn how to speak it appropriately. And English wasn't even my first language, girl. Like I'm Espanol only. You know what I mean? Anyways, and since you have a hard time knowing the difference between a threat and a question, this is a question. Answer now. Dom says, there's no point of this argument. Like, Jesus Christ, if you love me, you drop it. Holy shit. Kenzie says, if you loved me, you wouldn't fake apologize. You would mean every apology that comes out of your mouth. You are literally so immature and your communication skills are lacking. Dom says, Kenzie, this isn't a good example of me apologizing because it was a misunderstanding. My skills are lacking right now, but I'm at my limit. My temper's coming back. That's why I'm not trying to talk. Cool. She says, cool what? He says, everything cool now? She says, why would it be cool now? Nothing has changed. I know you may not think that what you're doing is wrong or big deal, but it is bothering me a lot and hurting me a lot. And I don't think you could get a single F. Telling you how I feel shouldn't make you mad. You should want to fix this. Why have we spent one whole day? Like, this is one whole argument. I can't believe he just said, go F yourself until the cows come home. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. You can say that I am. Vocabulary of 30 words. Dom says, I'm not trying to do anything. I was trying to throw that in the past. So hard. That was a shitty example of an apology because that whole thing was a misunderstanding. If it were something else, yes, I would have acted better, but I was already in an irritated mood and I just wanted to ignore it till it calmed down. So I didn't get really irritated when I'm mad. I want to ignore the problem till I'm not mad and you want to work it out right now. Then, but we should meet in the middle as if I'm irritated or mad and don't want to talk. We ignore it, but then as soon as I'm not mad, I have to talk to you. Yeah, it's pretty much how it is. He said, does that work? Kendi said, yeah, that's a lot better. Dom loved her message. And he says, now what time are we watching Euphoria? She says, it comes out at 9. He said, bet, what time you want to come over? She says, I don't care. Whatever. I might shower. Whenever I might shower, I smell really bad. That's disgusting. Please. Here we do practice good hygiene at Mellyverse. Yeah. No. Thank you. Michelle says, yeah, that makes sense. And she actually knows how to spell it. Oh my God. Thank you, baby, for spelling it right. We learned it in like the what, 4th grade? I don't know. I never said I smell bad. Listen, we're not going to get into it right now, but this is a problem. She says, whenever I might shower, I smell really bad. But I don't know if I want to do that. Ew. She smells and wants to go hang out with her boyfriend. You guys, sometimes okay, I work in the healthcare field and, like, sometimes I get in trouble for smelling too good. Like, the patients are like, I can't your perfume is too strong." Like, "Bitch, spray some perfume on at least." Like, do you know what I mean? Anyways, it's a problem. This is a problem. She says, "But I don't know if I wanna do that." He says, "You got a lot of time if you want to." He's like, "Please, shower." Dom says, "If not, who cares? It's 7:20 on a Sunday. You're not doing shit. Might as well wait until the AM." Kenzie said, "Polaris, but I'm just gonna sweat again at night and smell bad tomorrow." She's like, "I'm just." I knew so many of you were gonna come out and be like, "She's gross as fuck." All I need to know is that you're washing your ass because that's all I care about. Please, good, clean hygiene. Yeah, I like to smell like fucking flowers and vanilla and diamonds and cotton candy and all the good things. She's so gross. She's like, "I'm just gonna sweat again at night and smell bad tomorrow." That's fine, Kenzie. Just don't smell bad. I don't care if you sweat. I don't care how many times you shower. I don't care if you're running that water bill up. Just I don't care where you're showering. If you wanna go do it in the pond and smell like pond water and pond ass, I don't care. Just shower somehow, please. Dom says, "Yeah, I would just shower in the morning." Kenzie said, "Okay. When do you want me to come?" He says, "You can come in like an hour, but about to go eat dinner next door in 20 minutes." He says, "Unless you wanna come over and hang out, my mom is back." She says, "Do you want me to come? I haven't even seen your mom in a while." Dom says, "If you wanna come, of course. I'm rolling a wood right now, then we're about to head over." She says, "Imma come." She says, "You up?" This is the 28th at 9:42 AM. Hey, Ripley. They don't have time to shower because they only have time to text. I know. Right, I'm reading Reese Crows. You're cracking me up, dude. Why don't they have sex? They've been together for 3 years. Because my theory, allegedly only what? Allegedly only? I think she has issues. Kenzie has, like, some psychological issues going on, and then the cheating issues. And then I think Dom doesn't pressure it because he knows she's crazy, but I also think Dom is not sexually attracted to her because, like, look at what a piece of shit she is, and that's just point blank, period. How could you be attracted to someone that's constantly treating you like that? Yeah, Michelle said it. Trophy wives don't smell. Is she okay in the head? Carrie, are you asking about me or Kenzie? I'm not okay in the head. Nope, never was. I never told you guys that I was, so take it how you want. Yeah, Nancy, gross AF. That's right. Yeah, Alicia, I get it. She had a mustache, that's why. She's bones. What did Tasha say? Because she doesn't ew! Oh my gosh, she reminds me of that Trash Trevino girl. Remember the live I did? What was that song? Can you guys remember? Remember I was, like, obsessed with that that song? I know the OGs will remember what I'm talking about. I'll think of it. Move on. Let's move on. Okay, so she says, "You up?" Jeez, we're probably only gonna get through February today. I mean, the new midnight. The new. Cruelty just ain't sexy. No, no, baby. About her. Oh no. Why are my comments not working? Oh shit. They're not. I'm not able to click on them. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Yeah, sorry, my mouse is like frozen. I mean, your explanation makes sense, not that her psycho punishment makes sense. She did complain about Dom always in the shower. Yeah, she can't shower herself, that nasty ass. Okay, next day, 2:28. She says, "You up? Want to play fort?" 9:42 a.m. He says, "Maybe in a sec." She says, "Now." He says, "I'm really tired." She says, "Okay, I have Polaris." And then it goes to 12:17 p.m. "I love you, Kenzie." She says, "Love you, Nug." He says, "If you dip now, want to go to the mall?" She says, "Beechwood?" He says, "Yes." Dom says, "Not Beechwood. I just want to go to our mall, maybe Aurora. If I go to Beechwood, I'm gonna end up spending hella." Kenzie said, "Probably not then. Our mall sucks." Dom says, "If we go to Beechwood, I'm getting them black triple S's." Kenzie said, we'll want shoes then too if you're getting shoes." She says, "I'm coming home soon." He said, "What? What you wearing? Maybe I can match." Kenzie says, "I don't know what I'm wearing yet. Maybe Skims?" He says, "Okay, let me know." She says, "I'm home at 2:36 p.m. I'll probably just wear the Skims maybe." She said, "Never mind." She says, "Want to make steak?" At 6:39 p.m. He said, "Yeah, just steak." She said, "And maybe something else." She said, "I don't know." He says, "Well, let me know what you want to do. I was just going to eat leftovers tonight." She says, "I want steak and pasta." Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? He says, "I'm driving." "What kind of pasta?" She says, "Any." He says, "Want to go to Giant Eagle when you're back?" She said, if you want me to." She says, "I'm starving. Can you just go right now so we can cook when I'm home?" He says, "I'm not going to be home for a bit. I'll see." She says, "I get to leave at 8:30. I know you." Okay, that was at 7:09. She says, "I know you didn't just hang up on me because I will end this right here." He says, "I'm going to get the food." She says, "I know you didn't just hang up on me." And then she says, "Okay." She says, "Effing do that shit." Oh, she said, "Don't do that shit." He says, "Don't be rude." She says, "You don't need to try to make me freak out even more when I'm already panicking because I have to drive home. Don't effing hang up on me and I will be goddamn rude. What the F is wrong with you?" Yeah, so they got into like a phone argument. Yeah, they do openly admit. Ew. She cheated first. Her ex snitched her out in the interview. Yeah, we're gonna rewatch that interview here soon. We're gonna do a little Mackenzie marathon. Why was she always threatening to tell the police about their relationship that they weren't even sexual? Just because he was older. Remember, he was like 20 and she was like 17 at this point. She says, "You don't need to try." Okay, yeah, I will be goddamn roll. What the F is wrong with you? Tempted to just not do steaks anymore because you can't grasp how not to hang up on people. Clearly, you are still not learning and showing your old habits. Like, why can you never prove yourself right? Hanging up on me is part of our old problem. Dom says, "You were trying to hang up. I didn't even know you were about to start talking again. But yeah, don't be rude. I won't hang up. My bad." And Kenzie, "You drive like a maniac every day and have been fine. You'll be okay, especially if you're driving careful." Boom. Right there. You're driving like a maniac. That's why Mr. Detective was like, "We need that text." Yes, please hit the like button. Wow. I know. He says, "And saying that isn't an insult, by the way." Kenzie said, "Let's just not do steaks tonight since you're in a little mood." Once again, belittling my problems. Kenzie says, "You're never going to learn and you never have." Dom said, "Kenzie, I'm not belittling your problems. It's driving everyone. Does it yell at 80-year-olds for going slow?" Oh, so Kenzie was yelling at 80-year-olds. Can't say that I've never done that, like, on the road. Not intentionally. Not like elders. anything, just like yelling while driving, you know? Anyways. Dom says, I'm just trying to tell you it's fine. Now I'm ready to dip and get the steaks right now. So do you want me to or not? Kenzie says, no, it's literally just you proving that you're belittling my problems even more. Melly, remember, she had Dom pay so she can graduate. Yuck. Yes, I do. Yeah, she's used to prison because you don't shower. Well, you do. It's just like weird in there. She says, no, it's literally you just proving that you're belittling my problems even more. And I'm ready to just not hang out with you tonight and deal with your shitty attitude. Like, how did I know I was going to get home before you could even step out the effing house? Dom says, okay, so we're not doing steaks then? Kenzie says, you literally had 25 minutes, actually multiple hours, plus 25 minutes, knowing my ETA, and you still not get the steaks. How about I'm just going to end this whole thing again? You're literally proving no change. 0%. Dom says, I just got home 15 minutes ago. I could have left 5 minutes ago if you didn't start arguing with me. I'm ready to end the whole thing too, because you never know when to stop arguing or being rude. Like, I hang up on you so it stops, not just so we argue on text. You're not proving change either. You're rude as hell. Kenzie says, do you think hanging up on people makes people shut up? LMAO. I'm so dead. Dom says, Kenzie, I'm not tolerating your attitude. You want to be rude on the phone? I'm going to hang up. Kenzie said, think about this relationship tonight. Dom says, then you pretend I'm the problem. Like, no, you were rude. So I hung up. Kenzie said, decide before tomorrow. Dom questions the comment. He questions, decide before tomorrow. Dom says, I guess I'm not grabbing the steaks then. He says, I'm about to eat. So let me know. Kenzie says at 8:33 p.m., this is not a threat. This is your last chance to make this relationship work. I told you I would try if you try. And as soon as you stop trying, I'm going to stop trying. And so far, you gave nothing. Last chance because I will end this all. And I don't care if you will end it all. Two, like, I don't give an F. Your reply to this counts. I'm so serious. I'm over this. Dom says, I feel the same way as you, Kenzie. He says, "You still wanna make steaks?" She said, "Oh my god. Oh my god. Do you think everything is just gonna be okay if you just, like, shove it under the effing rug? Like, why is that your solution to everything? Let's just talk about it later. You still wanna make these steaks? Stop trying to push it to the effing side." Dom says, "I just need to know if I should get them at Giant Eagle, probably closing." She says, "How am I going to know you can keep your word when you already broke your apology that you apologized yesterday? You're already hanging up on me on the phone, which is part of the original problem." Dom says, "Kenzie, you broke your word. You were disrespectful." Kenzie said, "I was trying to talk to you because I was scared about getting an accident, but of course, you being yourself, you have to belittle my problem after you hung up on me." Dom says, "Well, I'm sorry. I already said I was sorry." Kenzie says, "Remember, your apologies mean nothing because you do this. You apologize and do the same thing a day later. So your apologies mean nothing. And they won't mean anything until you've proven otherwise." Dom says, "You were so rude the next day too, and I'm not making a big deal out of it. I only hung up on you when you were rude." Why was I slouching? Sorry, guys. Kenzie said, "I wasn't. And if I was you, I would have said something." Dom says, "And now you're making it about me." Kenzie says, "What did I say that was so rude then? This is already about you, LMAO. You hung up on me." Dom says, "I don't know what you said. You started raising your voice, so yelling, so I hung up. I forgot for real." Kenzie said, "Last chance. I'm for real going to freak out." "Oh, so you don't know what I said, so you hung up on the phone? Okay, weird. Dot, dot, dot." Dom says, "I forgot. I hung up." Kenzie says, "You wonder why I never effing trust you. You can't even keep your word about a simple apology." Honestly, this is not working. My phone was going off. Dom says, you can't either. You're making it about me when it's clearly you. Kenzie says, how am I even going to believe you're going to try to change when you can't even keep an apology? Dom says, because if you didn't break your promise and be rude, I wouldn't have hung up. Kenzie said, what's clearly me? Dom said, all of this. Kenzie said, how many give you a chance to explain before you're blocked? Dom said, and you're trying to make it about me. Kenzie said, because you're so close. Dom said, I really don't care. Kenzie said, this is about you. Dom said, if you block me. Kenzie said, it's going to be more than just blocked at this point. I'm giving you one last chance. Dom says, okay, Kenzie, well, look, you were rude and I hung up, so it evens out. She says, OMG, are you effing slow? Question mark times 4. She says, like, holy shit. I seriously can't do this shit. What the F is wrong with you? Seriously, what is wrong with you? Question mark, question mark, question mark. More question marks. And Dom says, and now you're being rude. Kenzie says, I would love to know what is going on so I can understand. Yep, now the F I am. Keyword now. Slow. Dom says, you've been like that the whole time. Kenzie says, do you want this relationship to work or not? Because if you're not going to try, I'm done. Last effing chance. And this is a yes or no question. Yes or no? Yes or no? Dom says, yes, I'm a try. Kenzie said, then effing try. Dom said, but I'm not going to talk to you if you're rude. Kenzie said, and stop lying to yourself. Dom said, I obviously am. We've been fighting this whole time and I'm still trying to come cook steaks for you. Like my tolerance level 0, not tolerating anything, but my try level 100. Typo. Kenzie says, cooking steaks for me is not the same. Like WTF. Maybe instead of putting all that effort into cooking a steak, you can put it into like keeping your word, trying to make me feel loved, not hanging up on me. Dom says, I'm just trying to make it good and hang out. Like I wasn't trying to do any of this fighting. Kenzie says, honestly, any reply that I don't like after this, I'm done. You're just going to make it good that it's going to be bad a day later because you're going to hang up on me or do some shit. Dom says, next time I'll just do something else. I'll try another way of handling it. Kenzie says, of handling what? Dom says, the whole situation, the hanging up part. Kenzie says, why couldn't you just say that when I asked you why you hung up on me? We wouldn't have fought, and that would have been the end of the convo. And you probably would have been here now making the steaks. And then she sends a screenshot with an arrow to a message. She says, that could have been said right there. Dom says, I don't think you asked why. Kenzie said, why would it mean something now after you just argued with me for over an hour? Like at this point, it just feels like you're trying to stop arguing. You're just trying to stop arguing. I just say anything to make this stop. I'm so done. Whatever, Dom. Get the steaks if you want to do whatever you effing want. You're just going to keep doing the same shit and I'm just going to have to deal with it. And then he sends a screenshot. He says, so you want me to get them? Make her dog food. Smell you later. For goodness sake. She repeats herself. She's not sexy, nice, exciting, lovable. Don't get it. I know, Chris. Imagine the alternate universe where Dom lives, makes music, and meets a beautiful, talented girlfriend. Oh my God, I love this. If that was true. Oh, she's a narcissist. She's an abuser. She's verbally abusive, mentally abusive, emotionally abusive, and sexually too. I might as well just say it. She is. And she's smelly. He said, so you want me to go get them? He says they literally close at 9. She said, well, I don't even care at this point. She says, I told you when I get out of diversion, I haven't ate all day. I'm so fed up. Figure it out. I don't even care. Like, F this. Dom said, this isn't my fault now. He says, let me see if we can curbside or something. She said, it was your fault from the beginning for hanging up on me. He said, wait, no, it's open till 10. He says, and babe, we both got wrong. We were both wrong, but don't raise your voice on me on the phone if you don't want me to hang up. Like next time, I won't, but you can't get mad if I have a reason. Kenzie said, and what did I raise my voice about? What did I yell about? I would love to know, since that's the only thing that you've been bringing up this whole conversation. I would love to know. Dom says, you know what, Kenzie? I was totally wrong. I'm sorry. I must have just thought you were yelling and being rude. Now I'm about to go get these steaks. She says, are you there? And then she sends a bunch of TikToks. An addict to new violence. Yeah, I know. Okay, this is the end of February. We finally made it to March. She's sending TikToks. I don't know if I should finish there and we'll start a brand new month tomorrow. Or do you guys want me to keep on going? Put some Benadryl on her for just shut her up. What's her problem with Shine? I don't know. Clearly, something. Keep going. It's up to you, Melly. Keep going, please. Okay. I'm down. I'm down to keep going for a little bit longer. But I'm gonna play this. Couple more minutes. You guys are want me to keep you up past your bedtime, huh? Yeah, you do. All right. Okay, listen to this while I go grab my water and then I'll continue reading the text messages. Okay? Okay. This is the abusive phone call with Dom and Kenzie.
You broke up with me earlier. Because you are a little fucking weak bitch.
You broke up with me earlier. You really broke up with me earlier.
This is your last chance to open the door, or you are not coming out of this house all night, because I will not leave.
You literally broke up with me earlier. Like what is the point you're trying to, like, you broke up with me, like, earlier. Like, what point
I didn't.
Yes, you did. You said we're not together. You really said that shit. Like, you really broke up with me earlier. Like, what are you trying to make? Like, why would I just let you in my house if you break up with me and you're threatening to break my shit? Like, you're threatening to key my car, threatening to break the doors.
I will key your car if you do not let me in the house.
You're gonna key my car if you don't
let me in the house, yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. So just let me in the house.
No, like, why can't you just be like calm at least for a second and I can feel comfortable in the house?
I am calm. I don't think you get to decide that with your fucking weird ass trauma problems.
You're really threatening to fucking key my car and shit. What else are you threatening?
Dom, I'm gonna give you one last chance to open the door. I'm gonna leave and do what I said I was gonna do.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna give you one last chance.
Kenzie, look, let me go to dinner.
No.
You can let me go to dinner, then I can let you come over later.
No, you're not, because I'm coming to dinner too.
Why? You should have told me you wanted to come.
You fucking retard. She already put me on the reservation, so fucking open the door, you dumbass. Like, open the door.
Let's just go next door, though.
Sorry, guys. I forgot about how bad she is with the cursing. Oops. Forgive me, YouTube, for I have sinned. YouTube's going to be calling me up in the morning like, bitch, why did you just play that? Anyways, if you guys want to listen to that call, that is under my videos section. Let's continue because I love you guys. We're going to continue for a little bit longer. Let me pull up the text messages again. Last chance. Okay, I like it better this way. Thank you. Skip dinner, please. There's no way he loved her. What's to love? Yeah, I don't know why he entertained her crusty ass. Okay, let's continue for a little bit. We're into March. She's sending TikToks. We're going to go for like a couple more minutes. Also, guys, I'm thinking of doing like a whole, and I'm gonna tell you guys now so everybody else can steal my idea. Not gonna name any names. We're gonna do like a recap of some of the interviews. I think it's better to look at them after these text messages. It's like a different perspective. I swear you violate YouTube's snow white policy like 13 or 14 more times. I know, I'm honestly always like apologizing. Aw, thank you, Alzheimer. We love you, Melly. That's why we keep coming back. Yeah, I was thinking we can go through all of the stuff again. And we still have to go through the TikToks and stuff. Remember, I have like gazillions and gazillions of TikToks and Instagrams. I have to like blur it out though. Cause she's like smoking the bong. She's like hitting the blunt. She's wearing like a bikini that covers very little, you know, like things that Snowflake YouTube does not like. I didn't say it, First Liberties did. Recap is a good idea for those of us that are loyal and know about the case. Friends text, yes, we are going to go through those as well. I thought I already went through some of them on the first live. Did I not already? I know we haven't gone through Grace's. I'm going through the folder right now. I have Grace text messages. We're going to cover the church thing as well. We have Instagrams, TikToks. I want to cover some of the interviews again. Okay, I'm being distracted. But yeah, oh. Sorry, that was playing in the background. Okay, let's continue. I haven't cheated. Oh, happy birthday, Robert. Is it? Sarah, I love day drinking Boone. Yes, we need to. I never watched that trial completely in its entirety on my channel. Let's do a replay of that. Drakey says, I haven't cheated to you, Melly. I'm loyal. Oh my gosh, Drakey. I haven't seen you in other chats. You haven't cheated. Thank you. Thank you. So this is her soulmate. This is how she talks to her soulmate. Yeah. Okay. So March 1st. She's sending TikToks. He says both, to be honest. He says, are you on Fortnite? She says, yes. About to be. She says, I made tea. He said, I was about to shower, but if you want to play real quick, I'm down. He said, it needs updates. I'll play when I'm out of the shower. She says, I'm on. WTF. Dom says, what? My shit needed update. I put in some laundry, then got in the shower. I'm out now. I'll be ready to play in a sec. Wait, let me go back. Oh, I thought I skipped. He says, okay, I'll be ready in a sec. She says, you took like 8 hours and didn't tell me. Was it really 8 hours? No. I'm going back. It was 12:42. She says, you took like 8 hours and didn't tell me at 1:55. So like 1 hour? Dom said, I said I was going to take a shower an hour ago. That was an hour ago. I had to flip some clothes first, so I have underwear and stuff. Kenzie says, get on. He says, I'm about to. She says, WTF. Why are you not answering now? Like, what is going on right now? And she sends 20 question marks. And then she's sending him Revolve clothing links for him to buy her stuff. And then she's sending, I think, a joint. She said, is that good or not? Because I don't know what I just said. F it at this point. I won't sell to her anymore if it's bad. Bruh, WTF. Question mark, question mark. She's sending a bunch of question marks. She says, I would text back like right now. She says, OMG, I swear to effing God. Okay, I'll just pull up then. Since you want to be effing weird, why can you not communicate? Why can you not communicate again And again, she sends the same message. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Again, she says, why can you not communicate? 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 No, I swear I'm not repeating it. Like, I know that was hell of annoying. That was what the text messages. I know you guys probably think I'm like, yeah, happy birthday to Robert. Mm, wait, is it not your birthday, Robert? Are you messing with me? How about I don't play no games? He can't shower or go to the bathroom. Damn, says Marvin. Their question marks are increasing in number. It's getting bad now. I can never eat while listening to these texts. I know. She says, okay. She says, why can you not communicate? She says, quote unquote, I'm going to try my ass. Now I'm mad at AF. What the F? He said, it's fine. He says, I got peanut butter all over my jacket. So I was washing it. He said, Kenzie says, nah, you lied. She says, you getting DICK from him or something? Why does she do that? Why does she always say that he's like being gay with his friends? It's so rude. She says, are you getting D from him or something? What the F is it so hard for you to just tell me what the F you're doing? Like, what goes through your goddamn head? Sorry, I wasn't answering. I was getting DICK down by Bradbury. Is that hard? I would answer right now. She says, done. He sends an emoji. She says, every day you prove to me that every word that comes out of your mouth is a lie. He says, I literally got peanut butter on my jacket. So I ran downstairs to wash it. She says, yeah, I'm sure. He says, compassionate. See? She said, it's a different effing excuse every time. Like, I literally don't believe a word that comes out of your mouth. Dom says, uncompassionate. She says, it's okay. Just go get your DICK. He says, exactly what I was talking about. Kenzie, that's what Dom said. And then Kenzie says, she's waiting in your driveway right now. Oh, here we go with a jealousy. Oh, you're having sex with someone. You want someone. I'm so insecure. I'm so over. I don't know. She knows it's yeah, trauma trigger. I just don't know how he dealt with this, you guys. I don't get it. Because she's gay. I just don't get how I can't even deal with it and we're just reading the text. Like, I could never be in this type of relationship. Ask her friends in prison who's really gay. She accused him of everything she is. Chris, stop it. She says that she's waiting in your driveway right now. My house smells right now. Like, you want to know what it smells like? It smells like cranberry crumble, like Thanksgiving. It's giving come to Melly's house for Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas. Yeah. You guys want to come over for that? Okay, good. Because that's what it smells like in here. It smells like good. I love how Melly reads these with the correct tone. I try. Okay, she said she's waiting in your driveway. Who is it about? Is it Hannah? Is this who she's talking about? I bet it's Hannah. Kenzie says she's waiting in your driveway right now. Dom says, sends an emoji. Kenzie said, like I said, this is not trying. If you send in another emoji, there's going to be a problem. Dom says, what the F is wrong with you? Kenzie says, I think you're old enough to type out how you feel. Sorry, I don't know how to answer the phone. Dom says, I'm not texting. Kenzie said, at least I can apologize before you tell me to, though. If we can all listen to these text messages again from the start, we could literally start keeping track of all her damn lies. You know how long we would be up here for? Like 100 million hours. Thank you. Thank you, Chooks. I'll bring the Modelo. You already know, baby. You are anybody? Party at Mello's. Oh, at Melly's. For you guys are talking about Thanksgiving. Yes, yes. Anyone who brings me a Modelo, baby, we're falling in love. Let me apologize before I start, please. Please apologize. He can't communicate. That's why he's not answering. He says, you didn't apologize and you were just rude AF and uncompassionate. Exactly what I was talking about. Dom says, I didn't even know he was here because my phone was upstairs because I wasn't trying to ruin my clothes. Kenzie said, oh, so he was just inside your house? They're talking about Bradbury. Dom says, if you got shit on your clothes, you would be acting the same way. Like WTF. Kenzie says, well, you were panicking. He was just sitting inside your house. Dom said, no, he wasn't. He was outside. Like, where did you get that? I didn't know you were calling me and I didn't know he was here. Because I have peanut butter on my shirt. Like, you would have seen me shirtless if you answered FaceTime. She says, I don't care, with 20 question marks. He said, and then I answered the phone to you. She says, I don't get horny in the middle of an argument. She literally needs so much mental help. And I know you guys are going to be shook. I say this, like, I feel for Mackenzie that she didn't get the mental help she needed. You know, as much as we think she's a piece of shit, it's like a two-way thing, you know, like Dom didn't get the help he needed. She didn't either. Like, her parents also failed her. Natalie, Shirilla. Don't get me started on Natalie, Shirilla. You know, but I just feel bad. Why does she engage? Why does he even engage? That's on her parents too. Absolutely. Remember what I always say. You can be a product of your environment. Pulling up. Here? Or you mean Kenzie? She accused him of cheating with both male and females. Anything to hurt him. I think it's about like belittling him and making him feel like less of a man, insecure, and just like really shitty. I think she has broken him down so bad. It's really shitty. Her parents failed her big time. Yeah, she needed to be an award. I need to get like a psychologist up here. That would be interesting, huh? I have a friend psychologist on here that has a channel. I think it would just be interesting to talk over this. Yeah, she needed to be an award. Because I can only speak from like going through mental health issues. You know what I mean? Not like on the other end of it. She was also the Dr. Phil. Stop. I'm not going to have Dr. Phil on here. Thank you very much. Let's continue. She says, I don't get horny in the middle of an argument. Dom says, and ran out to him real quick. Kenzie says, like, you're really just proving yourself to me. Sad. Dom says, or Kenzie says, why would I believe you can keep your word when you can't even keep your word about the simplest things? Dom says, like I told you, I may answer the phone when I can, but if my hands are full, I can't. Kenzie says, you can't even communicate normally. Dom says, like I got peanut butter and took my phone out the pocket and ran downstairs. If you would have waited 5 minutes, I would have answered. Like if I was doing the dishes, I wouldn't have answered. Or vacuuming, I wouldn't have heard it. Kenzie says, you tell me you were doing your dishes though. You told me you were vacuuming. You would have told me you were vacuuming. Dom says, like, I'm not going to answer sometimes. Kenzie says, okay, then I'm just not going to answer sometimes. Sorry, someone's blowing my phone up. Okay, then I'm just not going to answer sometimes, she says. Dom says, yeah, because I was cleaning peanut butter. If you're doing the dishes, I'm not going to care if you answer. If you're cleaning your clothes. You didn't answer me for hours before and you said you were doing nails. I didn't get pissed. What if I was wiping my ass? How am I going to answer with poopy hands? Oh my God. That's what Dom said. I mean, he's not wrong. Dude. Someone said, get John on here, Dr. John. Oh my God. Stop it right now. You stop it. Hell nah. I wouldn't get him up here if I was up here shaking my ass, blacked out drunk. Hell nah. Actually, I take it back. I might for the clicks and views and be a grifter. That's actually funny. Do I sound like Turtle Boy? I think we're all going to need psychologists after this. Definitely. Is the sister getting support? Dude, I'm really concerned about Danny. Danny Shirilla, if you are out there on the YouTube streets and you see this, please know we want to help. Oh. Sorry, I was reading my notifications. So cool. Tia Marie, glad you didn't go. We're praying for you, Danny. Yeah, Danny girl. We know you're traumatized. Okay. That was comedic laugh I needed. Okay, sorry, I was being distracted. Remember when you said from jail, nobody knows how controlling Dom was to that moron failure as a mother? We're going to go through the calls too. I have a live for the calls this week. Join my Patreon. No, I'm not putting my ass shaking video behind a paywall. Just kidding. He says, okay, with poopy hands, she says, stop trying to gaslight the situation and make it more than it originally was. You're as lying about who's at your house and what you're doing. When you have somebody over your house, I would tell me because I will find out. Kenzie, and she says, and if you're going to answer your phone, then how about you communicate that you're not going to answer your phone for a long period of time? Dom says, Kenzie, I spilled the peanut butter on me, then washed it. I'm not going to text you and say, Kenzie, I spilled peanut butter on me. I have to hurry and wash it, so I might not answer the phone. Like it takes me 5 minutes to clean it. If I don't answer you for 5 minutes, you can't be mad. It's not like you text me and I just don't text back for an hour. Kenzie said it was more than that. It's extra suspicious when I drive past your house and there's a 50-year-old man there. Okay, Kenzie, so now what? You think he's gay with a 50-year-old man? Like, give me a break. Jeez. That's true, Callista. We all go to mental health, but some people are just mean and evil. Yeah. Some people on here too on YouTube. Tell me, Isha. Patreon video, Evie, stop. From what I understand, narcissists aren't curable though. A switch kind of flips, isn't it controlling like BPD or depression? Is she histrionic or bipolar? Or I don't think she's bipolar. I think there's something else. Cause like I'm familiar with that and I don't think that's what it is. She's literally loony. I wonder if Natalie Shirley feels like guilty because she knows something wrong with her. Borderline. Yeah. Borderline personality disorder. Yeah, because I know a lot of people here are bipolar and it doesn't, I don't get those vibes. And people who I've dealt with that are bipolar, they don't act like Kenzie. Natalie, she's a demon. She was dropped on her head. Has to be it. That's what it is. Thank you. Okay, let me get a drink of my drink. As mom used to say, that's one bad egg. Oh my God. Okay, she says, there's a 50-year-old man there. So from now on, you're going to be telling me who is at your house, which shouldn't even be a question or something. I wish I could trust you, but you literally keep doing things that make me don't trust you. Dom said he wasn't even at my house. He was in the driveway. Kenzie said, how am I supposed to effing know that? All I see is him in your driveway. I expect him to be in your house and you're not answering me for over 30 minutes. You're either cheating on me. Okay. So of all the things, you're either cheating on me, getting robbed, getting beat up, getting arrested, or just doing something normal. But obviously, I'm going to think of the other things. If it's like more than an hour, yeah, then I would worry about if I got caught up with the police or something. But like if it's 20 minutes, dude, chill out. Chill out. Chill the fuck out. My head hurts from rolling my eyes. Oh no, are mine getting stuck? Tell me when I start looking funky up here. There's no way she wasn't dropped on her head. I just wonder if she saw a lot of abuse at home. Because she's really evil. Her parents were happy to pass her off to Dom. I wonder if her parents are so happy now, living in peace. They're like, oh, we don't have to have her here. We just got to send her commissary money so she gets her stupid little hot chocolate and coffee and like hot Cheetos. I'm sad that Dom didn't realize he could do better. She says, but obviously I'm going to think of other things. Those are things you've done to me before, and I'm just used to it like that. So it takes a lot of reassuring, which you said you were going to do, which you haven't, but whatever. Seriously, I'm really fed up. Dom says, Kenzie, it was still less than 10 minutes of not answering. Like, that's not bad. 10 minutes? Again, you haven't answered for hours because you were doing nails, and I didn't say anything or get mad. Oh my God, I almost, almost choked. Oh, I need mouth to mouth. He says, or get mad, and you should have just answered FaceTime, and then you would have seen what was going on. Dom says, like, I'm not going to argue about this now. It's wasting my time. I'm supposed to be places. Kenzie said, the difference between me and you is I've never cheated on you. You have no reason not to trust me. Yeah, you threaten to call the police on him every day. Like, I don't trust anyone who's trying to call the police every day. That's a no-no. A no-no. He would not, at least when it's a threat like this. You know what I mean? If there's a murder going on, then yes, please call 911, call 911. But like, chill out. She says, you have no reason not to trust me. She sends a selfie of herself. Dom says, we were broke up when I did anything with anyone. You cannot believe it. I don't care. Kenzie says, does that make it okay even if it's true? I know you didn't just reply that. Dom said, it's not okay, but I didn't cheat. Kenzie says, like, I know you didn't. Oh my God, again? Dead ass. I know you did not just say that. Like, I must be hallucinating. Like, is that what's happening or something? Am I? Dom says, why? She says, like, am I hallucinating? Like, I know you didn't say that. Like, that would be the most insane thing ever. Like, for real. Am I? Question mark. Dom says, bruh, whatever. There's no getting anywhere with this. Kenzie says, so I'm hallucinating. Question mark. Dom says, sure. Kenzie says, okay, good. That's what I thought. I knew you wouldn't be dumb enough to say something like that. Dom says, okay, Kenzie. She says, do you know what? I'm going to make you some art for your living room. You're going to love it. Dom said, what is it going to be? She says, a portrait. He says, I bet. He says, did you get Starbucks yet? She says, obviously I didn't just leave the house to go check on you. I thought you were going to just ignore me for hours and I needed it before it was too late. Dom says, oh, okay. She says, I only got a medium though. You can come drink some. Dom says, I wanted a croissant, but that still sounds good. Maybe I'll come hit the bong while I'm waiting on this kid. She says, NIG. I literally just went to the bathroom, like took an actual shit and survived in Fortnite. Somehow. And she sends a screenshot of it. He said, that's funny AF. He said, okay, this kid wants me to come now, so I'll link with you after if you want. And then she's sending links to clothes and weed and stuff. And he's sending links back, and then she's sending dresses and Skims. She's sending him all this link. Okay, then she says, can I have money for Luca? No, dude, you can't have money for Luca. You need to go with your boyfriend to Luca. Like, she's literally asking her boyfriend for money who already supports her, and she's not like, oh, for us to go together. Yes, Drakey, you're right. We do love to anyone who's struggling. I can't wait to tell you guys some of my situations from before. I mean, this is an abusive relationship. Yeah, it is. I wonder if Natalie wanted Dom's job. A rug dealer? He was selling Egyptian rugs. Mackenzie does not have human feelings or emotions. That's right. She says, can I have money for Luca? You guys, by the way, Luca's like $150 every time they go out to dinner there. So that's like how much he spends, if you were wondering. She says, can I have money for Luca? She says, come over. He says, I'm waiting on this kid to come out, then I can come. He said, Luca is expensive, Nug. How much did you expect? She said, I just want Wagyu and the Sessit. What is that? Let me look it up. Is that like, was that a typo or something? Because it doesn't, when I Google it, it doesn't come up as anything. She says, I want Wagyu and the SECIT. Maybe that was a typo. He says, I'll give you 20, rest you got to pay for. Oh, he's like, you got the rest. And then they start playing games on the phone. He says, play 8-ball. She sends a bunch of question marks. He sends a question mark back. She's sending stuff that's redacted. I don't know why we can't see those messages. And then he says, and why did you hang out? Why did you hang up? These messages she sent are redacted. Then he sends a question mark. She says, took from the cart money. She says, bruh. He says, what? He says, did they try and jump you or something? Kenzie says, bruh, it's now 8:20 p.m. She said, someone deadass has a puppet at the table. Dom says, what do you mean? Send video. And then she sends a video. Dom says, LOL, WTF. She says, bringing home 2 Wagyu. And then she sends another attachment. He says, bet. She says, I want to eat them, but I will save them. He says, you can eat them, LOL. She says, I'll take a bite, LOL. She says, do you want me to sleep over? He said, of course, you can always sleep over. She said, should I get the chocolate cups, babe? And then he says, unadd Kyle. at 9:05 p.m. She says, why? He said on Snap, he's being weird. And he always tells me to break up with you. Oh, so Dom and Kyle are having problems. And he just snitched on his friend. He always tells me to break up with you. So I don't want him in our business. Kenzie says, WTF with hella question marks. And then she said, WTF. Dom says, yeah, just then add him. He says, question mark. Kenzie says, I'm going to need to see that convo. What the F? Dom says, just add him. Kenzie says, I did. TF. The F is what she's saying. She said, I'm salty. When do I get the chocolate cups? He says, yeah. She says, I have food for you. He says, bet. He said, oh, Sacchetti and 𝐷𝐸𝐽𝐸𝐿? Is that like, what the is that? Am I not cool or what? Is it meat? Maybe that's why. Oh, it's a type of Italian filled pasta. Some have meat, some have cheese, some have vegetable or mushroom. I'll take that one, please. I don't think I've ever had that. Anyways, I was looking up what that was. Everyone knew she was mistreating. Yeah. Wagyu is the most expensive steak in the world. Really? Oh, so that's why they spent $150. Seems like a rerun. No, it's not. It's not. He says Sacchetti and 𝐷𝐸𝐽𝐸. She said yes, and the cups too, actually. Maybe not. She said, I don't know. She says, I have no money. I need clothes for summer. Okay, so get a job, and it's called grab a cup of noodles and like boil water and then put it in the microwave or like with the boiling water. And then like I like to eat it with saltines and add a little tapatio and like just shut the fuck up and eat that. Thank you. Okay. She says, I need clothes for summer. He says, yeah, just don't. She says, okay. He says, you need to be healthy too. She said, true. He said, so it's 2 wins instead of 1. She said, I need to wash my face and change this outfit. Then I'll come over. No, Kenzie, just get in the shower. He says, okay. He says, so you're not coming over at 9:39? He says, I'm about to go to bed. He says, door's getting locked. Good night. And then he says, question mark. Then he says, I'm getting on Fortnite. She says, oh, so you have a lot of fixing to do in this relationship. If you want this to work each day, you do something new, and it just shows me a new reason why this is not working out. Dom said, because I said I deleted that message. Kenzie said, if you're going to be friends with Kyle and Bradbury, then there's going to be problems with this relationship. And don't try to bring up Grace because she does not tell me to break up with you. She's the only person who actually talks to me about my relationships. You're literally probably the most untrustworthy person I've met in my whole life, and I will let you repeatedly break my trust. She says, I'm sorry, but I would watch your mouth. She says, I'm really about to just block you and go to bed if I don't like what you say. She says, you were going to let me go to sleep mad, and then you're just trying to push it to the side and try to play Fortnite like you didn't just say that shit to me. You have serious effing issues, and I don't think you want a relationship because you don't act like it. Dom says, you say awful things to me all the time, and I push him to the side. You don't say anything about that. Kenzie says, you're only nice to me when you're horny. No, that's not true, Kenzie. Thrift stores are nice, Kenzie, when you have no money. That's true. Or when you do. I like them. She says, you're only nice to me when you're horny. He says, I'm nice to you all the time, and I'm selfless towards you. she emphasized her watch your mouth comment. He says, but I don't lie. I've always came clean. I could have not said anything to you and weren't going to let you go to bed mad. You weren't answering. She said, yeah, this is not working. Unless you have something to prove, otherwise you're actually going to try, then I'm all done. I wouldn't answer if I was you. Dom says, sorry, I'm reheating this steak. This really isn't an issue if we just go about our lives. Like nothing that's said in text message is going to affect our relationship. But again, I'm not stopping you from anything, so just let me know. Kenzie says, oh my God, are you serious? Are you serious? Are you for real? 3 question marks. 9 question marks. Like, do you want to be single? Is that your goal? Answer right now. 5, 4, 3, 2. He says, what? He says, I'm talking about with other people. Why are you calling me like that? She says, dead ass, I would be talking right now. 5, 4, 3. Dom says, call me. He says, what? She had some of his money in her bank account. Here comes the countdown. Yeah, I know. He says, call me. He says, what? She says, F no. He says, you must not be getting this, right? Because he says, dead ass, I will explain yourself like dead ass. Like you're literally about to be so effing single, like dead ass. Like dead ass. Like I'm actually genuinely so effing confused. Do you want an effing relationship or effing not? 5, 4, 3. He says, what? Call me. What are you confused about? She says, I would be explaining right now. You're literally so goddamn close to being blocked and single. Dom says, anything that anyone says to me, Kenzie says, I don't give an F anymore. Dom says, will not influence our relationship. Kenzie says, if you want to be in a relationship, things are going to change. I think this is now the 4th or 5th time I told you stop belittling my effing problems, but your brain can't grasp that. Dom says, I'm not just saying that. Kenzie says, you're purposely deleting messages, thinking about that before I ever even would think about that. My life is a major, before I would even think about that. My life is a major red flag, and you're about to get dumped because of that. And if you're not going to try that, I'm going to block you. Honestly, if any of your replies suck, you're getting blocked. She says, I would think really hard before sending any of your messages. She says, and I wouldn't say anything dry either. And you never want to inhale both. What? And you never want to inhale both, like you said you were going to do for me today, proving that you can't keep your word once again. Dom says, okay, Kenzie, all I got to say is none of that had to affect our relationship. That's the last I was trying to do. That's why I deleted the messages. And yeah, I didn't hit the gym earlier. I got home and haven't left the house. My back is effed up. I didn't go to Aldi's either. I was just trying to crack it for so long, for real. But yeah, next time I won't delete the messages, I guess. Kenzie says, do you seriously just say the same goddamn thing you just effing said, but again? Like, I literally told you to think before you sent your message, and you literally just said the same thing. Like, are you trying to make me freak the F out? Because I will literally kill someone dead ass. I would be scared. There we go. There's a threat. There's the threat. She did exactly that. And then she sends a screenshot. She says 5, 4, 3, He says, what? She says, you're digging the most deep effing hole for yourself I think I've ever seen in my whole life. Oh, grave, not hole. Sorry. I think you're digging the most deep effing grave for yourself. Wow. We're freaking out because we see like the foreshadowing in this, but like, wow. Yeah, it would be so great to hear Dom say, oh, please keep me blocked. I know. She says, okay. She says, grave. He says, I'm really not. She says, like, why am I trying for somebody that literally does not try at all? Oh, and now you're going to reply dry again? And you're right there isn't going to be next time because I'm never going to look through your shitty little phone again. And I'm just going to trust my intuition. And next time that I think that you're cheating on me, I'm just going to break up with you because you probably are. Dom says, when you break up with me, you'll realize how much I actually do and how selfless I actually am. And I swear to God, I haven't done anything. Kenzie says, it doesn't matter how much you effing do. You literally are suspicious. You delete messages. You can't keep your word. You're unapologetic. You're dry. You're unloving. You belittle all my problems. You act different in front of your friends. You talk shit about me to your friends. You tell me I can't do certain things, but you do the same thing, but a boy version. I would watch your reply. Dom says, my message with my homie, that's private. Like, I don't ask to see your messages with your friends. Kenzie says, because I'm seriously on the brim of pulling up to your house and breaking all your windows. Her disgusting language is causing me anxiety. All this counting really takes the thought out of New Year's. Dude. Shot every time she says literally. Okay, we'll do that on like karaoke night. She says, because I'm seriously on the brim of pulling up to your house and breaking all your windows. He says, I don't need a boy version. What do you mean? She said, I would seriously like watch what you say. Do you want this relationship to work? Yes or no? She says, yes or no. Yes or no. He says, yes. Sadly. She says, this is your final chance. One more F up and you're single. I'm going to start keeping track as well. Dom says, I don't talk shit about you to anyone either. Same to you, Kenzie. Next disgusting comment about me, I'ma just block you. Kenzie said, oh, so this is now on me when you were the one who literally admitted to deleting conversations on your phone so I don't see them? I mean, we can just end this right here and be done. She's so dumb. She says, you're literally the one who said, do you want this relationship to work? Then fucking act like it. Strike one. He says, how is that a strike? I'm just letting you know. Kenzie says, and I'm just letting you know we can be done right now. So you're going to act like it or we're done? Question mark, question mark, question mark. He says, okay, Kenzie, I got you. Kenzie says, yeah, I'm not believing that. I'm going to have to like actually see it in person. Who knows? You're just going to delete it. Sad, I can't believe anything that comes out of your mouth because you always have to hide or lie. Whatever. Dom says, I really don't lie. Kenzie says, I'm done wasting my time with this conversation. Sweat conversation. You're just going to do this shit again in a day. Make my effing head and brain hurt like you literally suck. Prove me wrong, I guess. Sad because you were going to get a surprise tonight too, but always know I didn't want to for a reason. Oh, now she's manipulating him. Now she's like, oh, now I'm going to have sex with you or do something with you, but you just ruined it. Danny says, I've been waiting for these messages. She's so guilty. She thought they were going to be like Romeo and Juliet in her twisted mind. She's so shallow and valid with no personality. It's not baseball, Kenzie. You ain't allowed to give strikes. Jakey said this isn't baseball or YouTube. I think this is when she started planning and fantasizing about doing some real harm and taking control. Yeah, at this point, you guys, I agree. I think at this point, she's literally has already decided she's not going to be without Dom. Yeah, she has all of these ailments. Yeah, let me get a drink. Okay. She said, sad because you were going to get a surprise tonight, but always know I didn't want to for a reason. He says, ew, okay. He's like, yeah, ew. Don't want you anyways. She is sick. She's a sick, sick girl. She says, strike 2. Dude, I swear if someone was counting or giving me strikes like this and it wasn't YouTube, we would have major problems. Major problem. Well, first of all, you would just get blocked. Block, baby, right off the jump. Hubs and I always try to keep eyes on teen driving as we used to. Yeah, Rebecca. Yeah, my parents are probably hoping I don't get in a car because I'm a shitty driver. Well, I'm not the shitty driver, but I don't like driving. She says, strike 2. Dom says, I guess I'll show you. Kenzie says, like, are you going to use them all night? We'll see then. Dom likes her message. He says, love you, Kenzie, the next day at 10:11 a.m. She says, how does it go from that to this? Love you too. She sends a bunch of TikToks. Okay, I think she was at school because she says, I'm going to leave. Yeah. She's at Polaris because she says, already being dicks and we're doing box braiding today. Dom says, F them. He says, I got a crazy pump at the gym. Kenzie says, I don't know what that means. Wow. She's like really, really. Hey, Green Eyed Southern Girl. Good to see you, love. I was wondering where you were. She doesn't even know what a pump is. Yeah, F my life. Poor guy. She says, I don't know what that means. Dom says, my muscles pop in. Kenzie says, I might leave. He says, dip then. She says, they better have been your phone dying. Like for real. He says, yeah, it died and I was on the toilet. About to shower right now. Kenzie said, bruh, I thought you were showering this whole time. And then she sends more stuff for him to buy her. She says, babe, at 1:45 p.m. Babe. And then he's sending links back to her. Dom says, it just took me to this. He says, I'm about to get on Fort though. She says, Fort? She sends more Depop stuff. She says $150. Usually goes $400 to $700. So she's trying to get him to buy her something for $150. Kim, I've missed you, babelet. Good to see you, love. Good to see you too, Green Eyed. Is she living in his room again? I don't know where she loves bossing him around, dude. He says usually goes $400 to $700. Dom says Depop doesn't verify fakes though, because he said it's real. 150 is still good for a fake. She wants a fake purse or whatever, a purse on Depop. She says for now. And then she sends more TikToks. More TikToks. He says, I don't know about that one. She says, I kind of believe, she says, hold on. They're saying dinosaurs never existed, which I also kind of believe. Dom says, could be. And then she's sending more clothes. Outfits. Okay. More links to clothes. Okay. More clothes. Sweatsuits. She's sending Jeffrey clothing. Jeffrey clothing. Jeffrey Campbell, I'm assuming. Dom sending back more clothing stuff links. She's sending sneakers now. Now she's sending him boots. She's just sending him Nike stuff. He's sending her, I don't know what that is. Necklaces, chains. Then he's sending her a picture of him smoking a blunt. Then she's sending more TikToks. Now it's on the 3rd, jumping to the next day. He says, yeah, that's facts. So he was responding to one of her TikTok posts. She says, at 6:03 a.m., I'm not doing okay. Dom says, what's going on now, Nug? He says, babe. She says, I just woke up. The girl doing my English bailed. Now I need someone to do my other English. She can't even get through English class. Like, why does she think she was a bad bitch and she couldn't even get through English class? No. Loser, says Mallory. He says, damn, WTF. Dom says, what work did she do so far? Kenzie says, yeah, I'm just not going to graduate. She's going to take this final then. She can't help anymore. Kenzie says, because her grandma's sick. Dom says, so what work did she do? Kenzie says, she did the whole first semester. She's going to do the whole first semester. Now I need somebody to do my math and English. Dom says, I'll see if I can find someone. Kenzie said, I'm just not going to graduate. I don't even care. Dom says, are you sure? He said, thanks for helping me clean, by the way. My house looks so much better. She said, nobody's doing my work and I'm not going to do it. So, and that was at 11:46 a.m. And then Dom says, I'm so mad. My blender just leaked all over the counter and all in my blender and shit. And these dumbasses at the gym haven't got our key fobs to work. So we keep waiting like 20 minutes there every day for someone to let us in. And then they're not even staffed. And none of them are there to fix our keys. Even when they are there, we mention it to them. They don't do anything. It should be a stupid little click on the computer. I want to go to a different gym, but this is the only one that's close. That's good. Shit pisses me off though. Kenzie says, thank you for totally ignoring what I just said. That means so much to me. Dom says, I said I'd help you find someone. I'm so mad about this gym right now. And then he sends a screenshot. He says, literally worst gym I've ever been to. He sends another screenshot. He says, had to edit because they responded. Kenzie says, I don't even care about the schoolwork. Like, I would rather buy clothes. Yeah. To buy clothes means like get a freaking job. Yeah. Like, you go work, you get paid by the hour. I don't know, salary, whatever you do. You get a little paycheck, it gets deposited. You go to the bank, like a bank, like Bank of America or something, and you like cash it and you get money. It's called a job. A trabajo. That means you work for money and not sell your kitty on Snapchat. Don't get mad at me because I'm just telling you the truth. She says, I don't even care. I would rather buy clothes. I have no money for summer clothes and I have no one doing my schoolwork. So I'm just effed and broke. Dom says, you should pass high school and get your GED. Kenzie says, taking my GED is the same thing as going to high school in person. Why the F would I do that? I'm not going to go take that test in person. That's exactly why I'm online right now. The only way I'm going to pass high school is if somebody does the work for me, and it's not going to be me that does it. Dom says, GED is one test, then you're done. Kenzie says, or Dom says, so you want me to find someone for the work or no? Kenzie says, I'm not going to pass the test. I'm saying I would rather get clothes. I would rather you buy me clothes. You're funny. Dude. The audacity on her. Yeah, she can't do shit, Shug. Total waste. Natalie, are you okay? Your daughter needed help. Natalie, quit smoking that joint and come into this chat and talk to us right now. Her plan was to turn tricks with her feet. Her stinky feet. Ask your parents and tell them to hire you a cheater. Yeah. Just reading what the chat's saying. She says, I would rather you buy me clothes and shoes and purses. You didn't know? No, I did. I just don't want to see her gross ass feet. I'm sorry. She's like, I would rather you buy me stuff. Do you deserve it? No, you don't fucking deserve it. She should talk to, who's that? You mean Lauren? Lauren and Kenzie, is that who you mean? Thank God I never saw her beat. Okay, she says, and shoes and purses. He says, whatever makes you happy, Nug. Look at what a good boyfriend he is. He's like, yeah, sure. She got dirty feet on her ass. No wonder Natalie didn't want these texts coming out. Her feet are gross. She says, what do you mean, whatever makes you happy? Dude, just like shut up and be a good girlfriend. Be like a nice human being. No one has to say you have to be perfect. You don't have a perfect record. You don't have to be rich. Like, just be a nice fucking human is really all we need to do every day of our lives. Like, is that hard to comprehend? I'm not talking to you guys in the chat. I'm not getting mad at you guys, but like, yeah, what the we're like Natalie. She had an acrylic big toenail. I believe. Are these the texts? The reason she chose a bench trial? Yes. Kenzie chose a bench trial because she knew she had no freaking chance. She knew people like us were going to read these and be like, absolutely not, give her life without the possibility of parole. Like, her lawyers were like, Kenzie, no. Like, take the 15. If you get parole, you still have an opportunity at life, which I don't think she should. Mrs. Parole Judge, if you're watching this, which I doubt you are, please do not give this monster parole, because she's going to do this to her next relationship if she were to get out. Don't look at me like the justice system is perfect. It's flawed. I mean, look at all these men that they leave out, giving them other chances. We're talking about the people like Irina. She was stabbed from someone that was let out. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, are you catching my drift? Don't let her out is what I'm saying. Keep her locked up. I'm not joking. She did. I saw her TikTok. Ew, abuelitas. She says, what do you mean, whatever makes you happy? And Dom emphasizes the text where he said, I'm saying I would rather get clothes. Dom says, what are you saying that would make you happy? Not doing the school and getting clothes, you said. Kenzie said, 2 people are offering to do my math. Dom said, who? Are they reliable? Dom says, I can see if Angelo would be down. He was going to do mine. Kenzie sends a picture of the people doing it who are offering. She says, Austin or Colin? He says, I feel like I've heard of Colin. She said, yes, you have. Colin is in my grade and I've known him since freshman year and he is in the fake ID group chat, I'm pretty sure. Dom says, maybe have him do it. Kenzie said, he's friend with Ian in swim. Dom says, oh, I'm thinking of a different Colin. He pantsed me and I fought him. Kenzie said, I forgot about that. She says, I really want clothes. She says, okay. He says, sorry, I was distracted with this gym shit. He says, you want to play Fortnite when I get out of the shower? She says, Lexi is doing my English, I think. Dom said, Lexi B? Dom says, don't give her anything till it's done. She'll probably be on it, though, for real. Kenzie said, yeah, she said she loves English. Dom says, yeah, she'll probably do good on your shit, for real, as long as you don't give her anything first, because then she might be slacking, you feel me? Kenzie says, how long are you going to take a shower? Dom says, I'm about to go to the bathroom, then go. Kenzie said, question mark, how long? Dom says, I'm about to shower now. I don't know if I need to wash my hair or not. I'll see when I get in. She says, bruh, you literally are taking so long. Like, why? Like, I might just go back to bed at this point. Dom says, probably because I ripped the bong. I should have waited longer. I'm fried AF. Kenzie says, okay. Dom says, we could probably just play now. I don't even got a shower, I guess. She says, are you sure? He says, actually, I don't know, because I got to find a Band-Aid for that cut. I don't have any left. Kenzie says, can you just let me know what's going on so I can go to bed or not? Like, I'm getting annoyed. Dom says, go to bed. I gotta go to store and get Band-Aids, I guess. Kenzie says, I have Band-Aids at my house. I love how you tell me when I'm in a bad mood and you just like ignored it and don't try to make me feel better at all. Like you just kind of like be a dick and make things so much worse. Like I'm telling you how I feel. I have no one doing my schoolwork and then you just start talking about your gym. Like that's the least of my goddamn worries. And then you're saying we can play Fortnite, which is actually something that's like fun for me and calms me down. And then you have to just be like annoying as F about it. Like figure it out. Dom says, I asked if you wanted to find some, and yeah, I was pissed AF about the gym, and this tiny cut is deep AF. Somehow, I think I did it on my razor blade. I don't know what I should do about it. If there is shit in there or a scab, and you threw out my other Band-Aid, or else I would be able to play. Kenzie says, okay, I'm never going to clean your house again. Thank you, ungrateful ass. She says, strike 3. Dom says, I don't know if I should try to cut it open or just leave it. Kenzie says, yeah, I don't even know. Dom says, no, Kenzie, I thanked you. Kenzie says, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, you honestly never change. Dom says, I'm just saying I don't have one now. Kenzie says, you only change for like 12 hours, then you do the same shit. No, you're saying if I didn't throw out your Band-Aid, you would be able to go and play, and that's the reason you can't play. Dom said, no, I'm not. Kenzie said, so you're blaming me for cleaning your house. Dom says, I was saying go to bed, I'll go to the store. Kenzie said, conversation is over. Dom says, I didn't bring that up till way later. I don't care that you threw it out. How were you supposed to know? And yeah, I don't want to make the cut bigger. I don't know what to do. I don't know if there's something in there. It's like a tiny scab under there. It's right on my fingertip. I need to go to the store and get some Band-Aids. I might just cut it open and take whatever is in there out and then tape it. And then she's sending him shoes, Christian Dior shoes, or Champion. I can't read. She says $30. She says, are we playing Fortnite? Because I'm seriously going to effing bed. He says, those look beat. She says they are. That's why they're $30. She sends a bunch of question marks. Dom said, "You're saying you want those? Let me see if I can put tape on my hand." Kenzie says, "I mean, kind of, yes. I mean, everything I've asked for, I've been told no. Literally, I tell you, the only thing that makes me want to live is when stuff is coming in the mail." She's disgusting. She says, "Or when I'm modeling." And for math, this BITCH saying she will take carts. Dom says, "Bet, who is it? I wouldn't get shoes that have been on someone's feet that much. I'll get you those Nikes." Kenzie says, "I want vintage designer. We could take it to somebody that fixes shoes too. I just need cute summer stuff and I'm not getting it. Like, I literally need a job, but I don't want to work. Like, this is why I wish I could just be a no sugar baby." Dom says, "Kenzie, I understand that's what makes you happy. That's like the same as taking rugs. It just feeds your dopamine receptors. It's not real happiness. And yeah, I will buy you things, but you're giving me strikes and stuff is not making me want to spend good money on you. And if you do any of that stuff, we will be done, no question." And what do you mean a no sugar baby? Kenzie says, "And I would watch your effing mouth. For real." Dom says, "Threats again?" He says, "This comment is a fact. I'm not saying anything offensive." Kenzie says, "Now do you still," or Dom says, "Now do you still want to play Fortnite? Because if not, I'm a shower." She loves her own message about watching his effing mouth. Then she says, "They just talk to me or I'm just there. I don't do anything sexual. I don't know how you're capable of not being an effing DICK. I love how I tell you how I feel, and then you just tell me that's not how I feel, and you tell me the opposite thing, and this is not how I feel. Like, no. Only I know how I feel. I know what makes me happy. I told you if you were going to try again, I'm going to keep strikes, and if you get 10 strikes, we're done." Wow, 10 strikes. That's crazy. He says, "Kenzie, that's a simple human psychology. Do you want me to show you all the books on psychology and happiness I've read?" Kenzie says, "I could give 2 Fs. I do not care." Dom says, "Like, I know what I'm talking about. Trust me." Kenzie said, "And I know what makes me happy." Dom said, "That's not what happiness is. Pleasure isn't happiness. Happiness isn't a feeling." Kenzie says, "Okay." Dom says, happiness, all that happen in happiness initially means to happen is basically to be content with happens. That's what happiness is. It's not a feeling at all. Pleasure, excitement, and feelings like that are confused with happiness, but are only in the moment and can be quickly taken away. Similar to getting high. That's why people chase rugs and money and random things their whole life. It gets them high, it feeds them dopamine. I'm still down to play Fortnite. I'm just letting you know I'm not trying to be a DICK at all. You say I have to earn things back. Well, you got to too, then. It's only fair. Kenzie said, "Is that your mindset that you're using?" She questions her own message. She sends question marks. Dom says, "Not exactly, but I'm not going to hurt my pockets and buy you designer right now when you say I have to earn things back." Kenzie questions that. He says, "But yeah, I'll get you some Nikes and a couple things before Florida for sure. But if I'm not expecting the most from you, don't expect it from me." She says, "Okay, we'll play that game. This is going to be fun." Dom says, "Okay, I guess." He says, "Do you still want to play Fortnite? If not, I'm a shower soon and have places to run." Kenzie says, "I don't know how I feel. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's expecting the most from me. And I don't know if I'm trying to do that right now. I can't just be letting you to expect the most from me while I'm just over here. You know?" He says, "Playing Fortnite is expecting the most." He says, "Okay, I can go shower and get things done. Then if you want either one works for me, let me know." Kenzie says, "I'm just doing what you do." She loves his message. She says, "If I'm going to expect the most of a relationship, then is this much of a relationship? Huh?" Dom says, "You were the one who told me that first. I'm just matching your energy, babe." Yep, that's what she says to him, remember? She says, if you want me to be a trophy wife, treat me like one because you're getting nowhere. Dom says, you're not showing you're a loyal wife, though. Your strikes over little arguments and gonna break up with me after 10. That sounds like a part-time wife. Oh, he says, but all right, I'll treat you like a trophy wife then, I guess. She says, have I actually ever gone through with the breakup? She says, I mean, yeah, I know my worth. I'm not gonna let somebody who doesn't treat me like a trophy wife get the trophy wife package. Kenzie, you are so far from a trophy wife. It's like ridiculous. You must think I'm on shrooms every day of your life for me to think that. Like, I must be in another world if you think I would believe that. She says, like, I'll dead ass clean your house every effing day. I'll scrub the floor on my knees. Just treat me good. Dude. Dom says, Kenzie, before all of this started happening, you know I treat you good. I take you out on the nicest restaurants in Cleveland every week. I buy you new clothes every month. I massage you every day. Like we get pedicures together. I cook for you every week. And that's just off the top of my head. And I really don't ask for anything from you. Even the agreement to get back together, I just said respect, compassion, and kindness. And you've been threatening me since. Kenzie says, you've been rude to me multiple times and done weird things. Like Dom says, like you get the lifestyle of a bougie 40-year-old and you're 17. We live like the rich white people in Strongsville. Like we pretty lit, no cap. Kenzie says, I'm not saying we're not late and we don't live the good life. Dom says, you know I treat you good though. Kenzie says, you treat me good when you want to. Dom says, I buy more clothes for you than for myself. Kenzie says, you always belittle my problems. Dom said, but last month I bought a good amount of shit for myself. I'm not trying to belittle your problems. I'm trying to make you view them smaller. I'm never trying to make you feel like that. Kenzie said, that doesn't ever help, ever. I tell you, you make me feel like that, and then you still do it. Dom says, well, then I won't do that, but then I always think better to make them seem smaller than bigger. Like if I'm drowning in 8 feet of water and someone else is drowning in 12, yeah, I'm still drowning, but I could be 12 feet under like that other guy. So I got a good chance of getting out, you know? Yes, Dom, you're speaking metaphorically to yourself. Get the fuck out. She says, Fort? She said, I have a doctor's appointment at 3. She says, on my lunch. Okay, we're going to stop there. Wow. Oh, you don't see me anymore. Now you do. Dom wants a strike. Oh my God, 12 feet under. I know, green-eyed. I'm screaming. I would love to go back in time and save these boys, wouldn't we all? You know what I think? I think that Kenzie saw that he was changing and actually becoming like such a good boyfriend. Like we saw the change gradually from like 2020 to 2022 and how much Dom changed, and she just got worse. And I think that she was seeing like, oh my gosh, he is so much better than I am. And like, he's going to find someone and fall in love, and like, he deserves someone good. Like, and then she was like, I can't take it. Like, I'm not going to have that. So I'm going to unalive him. Like, I think she knew in her mind that she could never be the person that Dom wanted. And I think she knew that as they grew up, he was going to find that. And she was just like, no. She was an evil witch, a disgusting one. Trophy wife cracks me up. Thank you guys for being on. Abuelita, we are on, I already wrote it down too. We are on March 3rd. We didn't finish March 3rd, but we will finish. Tomorrow, I will be doing a live on Hidden True Crime. So if you guys are following that, I will do it in a part 3. I'll try to do a Kenzie live. Dear Kenzie, please give her happy pills. I know. Totally agree with you, Melly. She knew he went to the military. It was over. Exactly, green-eyed. She was like, I can't do it. Like, he's going to find someone better than me. R.I.P. Dom and Davion. Thank you guys for being here. Please, please, please tap that like button on the way out. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Thank you so much for the super chats and joining the membership. It really helps the channel. And I appreciate all of you guys for being here for this long. I love reading these text messages with you guys, and we'll still have a lot to get through regarding the Kenzie case. So thank you for being here. I hope you guys have a good night. Like I said, please hype this live up. Give it a like. I appreciate you guys. And I will see you guys. Wait, I want to see what you guys are saying. 3 kisses. That was awesome, Melanie. I think she's really mentally screwed up and it's getting bad. Good night, Melanie, in chat. Yeah, good night, VNG. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.